Sprinkle, sprinkle. Hey, y'all. Welcome, SHERA Star Goddess, SHERA Goddess. However you remember me, I've changed my name a couple of times on here. How are y'all? Good. Just waiting for a few more people to get in. I appreciate y'all. All right. So while we're waiting, I'm going to do a little Bakor incense, my little electric Bakor incense burner. And I've been using just Bakor Oud incense. It smells so good. This one is actually by Lattafa, if y'all are familiar with their perfumes. And this is in the scent Haya. And so I just have some in here. And I just making my space smell good. Okay. Let's get that going. Okay, hey y'all. I see a few of y'all in here. Okay, so we're going to be talking about spirituality, magic, and the occult. Okay, let me tell y'all a reason. One of the reasons. There's a few reasons why. I know some of y'all have been with me for a long time, my day ones. Thank you. But a lot of and I'm not downing anybody because spirituality being spread is a good thing. But ever since like social media and TikTok and stuff has gotten real popular, a lot of the actual like learning and studying and doing your research, it's not as much as it used to be because people are just going to find the quick clips and videos to learn versus reading books and getting knowledge from more than just 30 seconds on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. So like reading actual books and gathering the information how it's written by occultists is a whole nother story. It's a whole other level of knowledge and understanding versus what some superstitions are online and what story, this came from and, the history of this or that. It's very different when you're reading the occult knowledge. Okay. There are certain books that are written to dive into your psyche psychologically and get you to open up your mind on levels that watching a video or just reading, some little simple facts thrown together, it's totally different. So I always tell y'all, if y'all want real occult knowledge books, you got to go get the old books. Because back then they were written in a certain way to open up your mind in a certain way. They were written by real adept occultists. And you have to read between the lines a little bit, but at the same time, it will definitely open up your psyche. Okay. This one is called Fruits of the Moon Tree. If you can find it, great. If not, I don't know if it's available on Amazon anymore. It used to be. You can find it used on Amazon, but it might be a little expensive now because I don't even know if they print this anymore. But it's by Alan Bleakley, Fruits of the Moon Tree, The Medicine Wheel, and Transpersonal Psychology. Yeah, it's very expensive, but I found this in a bookstore really cheap about, I want to say like 5 to 7 years ago, maybe longer. But I just found it sitting on a bookshelf of a used bookstore really cheap. So those are good places to start looking for old occult books. Go find your old bookstores. Let me tell y'all, go to the back section, and a lot of them have stuff they don't even remember they have. I think like half price books or like stuff like that has stuff like this, especially if you find the older places that have been around a while. Or go to your older bookstores, you may find stuff like this in there. I'm drinking this prebiotic soda. It's pretty good. It's only like 30 calories. And it's good for your gut. So And check out your old school bookstores, used bookstores, and go looking for them. Okay. Another good book to read for anybody that's just beginning is definitely the Kybalion, the Hermetic Philosophy by the Three Initiates. If you're a beginner, this is where you should start. I always, suggest this for beginners to learn the occult information, to learn the universal law, how to this like has transmutation, all the alchemy and all this kind of stuff up in here. This one is for where you should begin as a beginner, in my opinion. I did not begin here. I wish I had. I started on something, way more complex. But if I had known, I would have started here. Sprinkle. A good place to learn and start off. The Kybalion by the Three Initiates. And if y'all are wondering, in the description, I have like a link to my spiritual Amazon suggestions, where most of these books that I'm talking about are going to be linked and listed along with other products that I suggest. Spiritual stuff I suggest as well. So when you are learning the occult, you need to learn out of books. You don't need to learn off on Instagram or TikTok. I'm promising you. Doesn't have the same effect on your mental. Okay. Another book I suggest that's linked in that same link of Amazon suggestions. This is good because the Magician Tables, I always mention this whenever I bring up books, the complete book of correspondence by Alan Richardson, Magician's Tables. It just has everything in here that you would want if you were an occultist, a spiritualist, a magician, an alchemist. It just has like all the tables, planetary stuff, gods, goddesses, like just everything. And it goes from all the types of pantheons, from Celtic and angels, Egyptian, Greek, planets, all different everything, all in one place. This is what you need. Sprinkle. All right. Sorry about the ads. Y'all know that's how it is. And if you're into like other things like the ocean and mermaids and stuff, I have a few mermaid books that I also got from Amazon that are interesting. You got to read between the lines in these because they don't really say things straight up, but you got to read between the lines, especially this one, The Secret History of Mermaids and Creatures of the Deep by Professor Ari Burke. This one is kind of written just very easily, but you have to read between the lines. If you're an occultist or a spiritual person, you'll be able to understand what they're really trying to say when you read between the lines and look at some of these photos and pictures. You'll understand what they're trying to say. Okay, so kind of self-explanatory. Even though it's a cutesy book, just read between the lines. I got this for my birthday. Somebody sent it to me from my Amazon wish list on my YouTube channel. So thank you. All right. This book is it's called Mermaid, the Myths, Legends, and Lore by Sky Alexander. This one is just more interesting and just gives you it has little poems in it. It talks about the history, like sightings around the world, quotes, like literature that there's mermaids in. It's just really good if you're just a mermaid person that likes to read about mermaids and the lore and all that kind of stuff. It just has like a lot of stuff that mermaids are mentioned in different movies, history, different parts of the world where they've been seen. So that one is just fun. I don't think it has much occult knowledge in there. Maybe just a little bit, but not as much as that other one where you have to read between the lines. Okay. A lot of people that study the occult deeply, they start seeing things symbolically and doing things symbolically. Okay. The difference between someone that's into the occult, someone who's into magic, and someone who's into just spirituality. Let me explain the difference. Uh-oh, T. Thomas, the resurrected Saturn god. Thank you. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I appreciate you. Yes. I've been sprinkled. Thank you. Okay, so spiritual people are like, I have to balance my chakras. I have to, be zen, and I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to, it's not religious. It's just more of a spiritual, type of way of being. Occult knowledge is the study of life, philosophy, psychology, symbology, and how people think, and mentalism. Okay. So it's very in depth. This is the stuff that is very deep. Okay. And magic is literally just the physical representation of what you're trying to manifest through physical objects. Okay. And it also works with mentalism and thoughts and energy. So magic and the occult are very close together, in my opinion. If you know the occult, your magic is much stronger, in my opinion. If you don't know the occult, you probably may have faith in your magic, but you may not know all that you could know that will make it more powerful. That's all I'll say. So when you study the occult, everything you do is strategic, whether you know it or not. I'm going to repeat that because some of y'all didn't hear it in the back. If you study and learn, the occult just means hidden knowledge, hidden. If you study the occult and symbolic meanings of things, everything you do consciously and subconsciously is going to reflect that. This is why you have a lot of people that do weird things. People don't understand it. Then some people understand it because they're operating from the symbolic or the subconscious or their occult symbolism. Okay. One of the main people that do this that I've noticed lately is definitely Ye. We're going to call him Ye because that's what he changed his name to. Occultists and people that practice magic and spirituality, they usually research the meanings of things a lot. So everything they do is well thought out, especially the things that they do purposely are very well thought out. Okay. So by him changing his name to basically a whole nother name, Ye, he changed the trajectory of his frequency. Okay. Because if you research what his name means, Kanye, it means next in line. And who wants to be next in line? Don't you want to be the top, the first, the main one? So he changed his name from next in line to Ye. And Ye means you or light. Okay. So he changed his name to change his frequency to take him from next in line. He's always waiting. He can't get his chance. He can't get his break. They won't let me in. I'm going to bust in. Change your name. Change your frequency. So this is why a lot of people change their names sometimes, because the name that they've been given is not where, it's not serving a purpose that they need to be served. And it could be holding them back, subconsciously. And also it could be holding him back through the subconscious minds of other people. So when they think of his name, next in line, not today, but later, not right now, but next, never now, so it's not in the present. So that's why he changed his name, because whenever someone thinks of him, they think of themselves, because it means you. So they're a reflection. And plus his sign is a Gemini. So he's like the twin signs, so he's just a reflection of you and also a light. So that's why he changed his name to that, so that his frequency can change as well. Okay. Thank you, Emmy S. Sprinkle. I appreciate that. Okay, and this is what y'all got to realize. When it comes to the occult, get your mind out of good or bad. Get your mind away from good or bad. Okay? That's religion. Get your mind out of what's good or bad. That's religion. Think of degrees. Think of temperature. What does temperature do as it changes? You know what I mean? That's what the occult is. It's neither good nor bad. There are degrees and temperatures. I'm saying temperature so you understand what degrees are. Okay. There's a scale. All right. Because what's needed to be done may seem bad to one person, but good to another person. You see? So it's all about perspective and the degree and the scale in which you're doing something on mentally. Okay. A lot of times people aren't dealing with things physically, they're dealing with them mentally. And it's up to the person that is perceiving what's being done, whether, you know, how they're going to vibrate, how they're going to feel, what is going to be triggered in their psyche. What perspectives are they going to start seeing from? How are they going to feel about certain things? So all is mental. You know, mentalism is a strong tool that the occult uses. And in order to create, you know, a shift in how people think, you need strong symbols. This is occult stuff. You need strong symbols. You need people to question things because it gets them thinking. Okay. They can't just accept things as is. You have to get people to ask questions, to dive deeper. Okay, because it gets them to look at themselves. That's why he changed his name to Ye, which means you. He's a twin Gemini, which is also like the mirror. So he's trying to get people to look within by doing certain things. And so a lot of times people that use the occult symbolisms in their music and their lyrics and their names and everything they do, they may also be easily triggered by people that aren't understanding their symbols, because it's not for everybody to understand. It's for those who are supposed to be triggered. You know, it's almost like, I don't want to say this because I think they want me to say it. I think people want me to interpret it because people don't understand. People don't really understand. And it takes a troll to know a troll. It takes a sarcastic person to understand a sarcastic person. It takes a narcissistic person to understand a narcissistic person. Okay. So it's funny to me. I just be laughing. It's not funny, but it's funny. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny how people troll the way that they troll, but it's to trigger certain people because of what's happening. All right, so I'm gonna say it because I laugh when I. All right, so y'all know how Ye was wearing the Sean John shirt, which is Diddy's old brand or Diddy's brand. We're gonna get into the other stuff later. All right, and people are like, why are you wearing that Diddy shirt? Why are you selling that Diddy shirt? Okay, let me see if people understand. In the comments, put what you think and why he's wearing that Diddy shirt and why he keeps talking about Diddy and Sean John. Please let me know, because I want to see if some of y'all are on the same page before I go into it. Just hurry up and type what you think and why. Why is he wearing the Sean John shirt amidst of all the Diddy stuff? Attention, no. Narc, no. Well, of course, but like other than that, it's not just about the attention, because he got attention in other ways. Why that? Why Why did he? Why is he representing? Why is he wearing that shirt with the with? It's kind of a funny trigger. All right, I'm gonna tell y'all because I don't think some of y'all are getting it. Okay. Now, this is just public information. So, most of the rappers and people in the entertainment industry have been to a Diddy party. All right. And most of the people that Ye has issues with have been to the Diddy party. Think about this. Most of the people that were handled and told to go against Ye or, to not deal with him because of, record deals and stuff, they've been Diddied by Diddy. So all these rappers that are looking at Ye, they like Ye, they like his music and stuff like that, but they can't say nothing because they're under contract and they're handled and they'll lose endorsements and their families will lose endorsements and all this kind of stuff, right? Or they're the people that they're signed with or signed to. So they can't say nothing, but they've been Diddied. So when they look at Ye and they see this Sean John shirt, that's triggering to them. It's bringing back memories. You know what I'm saying? It's mentalism on the highest level. So when these rappers look at him in that t-shirt and they remember all the Diddy parties that they were a part of, all the videos that they were on, all the drugs that they had been drugged up, all the stuff that, could be brewing, they get anxiety when they see that. It's like a trigger. So he's wearing it to trigger all these other musicians, all these other rappers that have done him dirty and gone against him. He's wearing that as a trigger. Okay. So it's kind of like wearing something that's out of order in front of a person with OCD. You know what I'm saying? It's a trigger. So that's what he's doing. He's triggering people with his symbols. And he's tripling and doubling up on all the symbols, if you know what I mean, to trigger others. Because his name is Ye, he wants people to see how he feels. He's a mirror. He's literally a walking mirror at this time of how people are treating other people, how people have been treating, how it feels to be triggered everywhere you look, how it feels to be a victim, and da da da. So that's what he's literally doing. And a lot of people don't understand this. They're just saying, oh, he's gone crazy. No, he's just a very adept student of the occult. And he knows how to use mentalism. That's why he's a billionaire. Okay. It's not a coincidence. And he does it in a way that only he can do it, I guess. I don't know. And okay, I don't know if y'all watched that interview where he had the black cleanse. I don't even want to call it Klansman's outfit because that's not really what it was. But he had the black outfit on. You know what I'm saying? And he was doing that interview and he was talking trash about everybody. I don't know if y'all saw that. But he called out a lot of people. And when he speaks, a lot of stuff may not make sense, but if you read between the lines and break it down, you understand. Okay, so I'm just going to use this as an example. I'm not trying to talk about this person because it's already been said. It's out there in the public, knowledge. Ye already said it. So when he talked about John Legend, that was straight up occult information right there, if y'all could decode it. He talked about how John Legend wearing sweaters in the summertime in Barbados. So we're not going to get into that pretty much, but then he snuck in this little tidbit when he was saying, they say he smelled like mashed potatoes. Okay. Now, what the heck, Kanye? Oh, he's crazy. Now, what is a potato? Let's break it down. It's a root vegetable. What's a root? A chakra, a root chakra, mashed. What is mashed? A mashed chakra, a mashed root. Where's the root? The rooter. Okay. I know y'all breaking it down. What is the mashed root chakra? Y'all right. Y'all can put it in there. You said, oh. I'll break down the other stuff on another video, but when he starts talking about him, I mean, he just a little sneakily snuck that in about he smells like mashed potatoes. And he continued to use a lot of triggering vocabulary and words. You know what I mean? Okay, the root chakra, root vegetable is a potato. A potato is a root vegetable. And when it's, okay, so think about the root chakra. Think about the root. And it's being smashed or mashed. So he was calling him out. You know what I'm saying? And he called a lot of people out on that in a certain types of way. And he was triggering people left and right because he's trying to awaken those people to show them, look what everyone has done to y'all, or y'all could easily be this triggered just by me saying certain things, just by me wearing certain things. Look what they've done to you. You have PTSD now. So he's trying to show them. Now he's trying to show all these people that they're victims and that they're not free. Even if they're living their life, they still aren't free like he's free. That's what he's trying to show them. And he doesn't care. He's going to trigger whoever he needs to trigger to get them to understand it. You see? So he's using the occult, the symbolisms that come with it. He's using mentalism and transmutation when he's doing these things, and he understands it and he knows it. Now, sometimes, like I said, if you are a student of the occult, it comes naturally to you and almost automatic sometimes if you've been doing it a while. Okay. Yeah. If he's triggered, then they gonna be triggered. That's what he's telling y'all. That's why he changed his name to Ye, because Ye means you. So if he's being triggered, y'all finna be triggered, basically. He's gonna use everything he knows to trigger people right back and upset people and get them uncomfortable as well. So, and being an unpredictable person that is easily triggered, you don't know what's coming next, which is, surprising at the same time. And it still is a way for him to promote, this is the transmutation. It still is a way for him to promote his album, his new songs, and everything. I mean, if you're going to sit there and bully a bunch of people and then name your album Bully, okay, perfect advertisement. At the same time, you're triggering a bunch of people that, you are trying to trigger, and you're getting your message across in advertising without spending that much money at all. Okay, so he's doing everything in one fell swoop. And depending on, whether people like him or not, it doesn't matter. Like I said, in alchemy and mentalism, good and bad, liking someone and not liking someone doesn't matter at all. It's the amount of attention, it's the amount of energy, and it's the amount of triggering and mentalism that it has on a large group. It doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? So that's all he's doing. And if you understand it, you understand it. And you're like, okay, well, Kanye is just doing what he do. Okay. I don't think at all that people really look deep enough into the occult to understand what he's doing, But if you read books like I showed you, you'll understand perfectly what he's doing, because most of it's in here. People easily being triggered. There's a couple of other books too. If you read, it will literally open up your psyche so much. that you'll be able to see like all those occult symbols and things that people are doing. Thank you, Alexis. Sprinkle, sprinkle. A lot of times that's why it's easy also to read people. When you are understanding of certain things, you can read people so easily because you can see straight between in between the lines, you know. So this book, Fruits of the Moon Tree, Medicine Wheel and Transpersonal Psychology by Alan Blakely. It's not on Amazon anymore, but you might can find it somewhere else, or maybe there's a PDF version somewhere. But this is written a long time ago. I got this a long time ago. This is one of the books that will open up your psyche, and it even explains it right here on the book jacket. This is an occult book that will open up your psyche using classical mythology, archetypes, occult knowledge, and psychology and spirituality. So they don't make them like that no more. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay, let's talk about, I wrote down some other stuff I wanted to talk about. Where my notepad go? Okay, so all this stuff that's happening in politics and China and the news and the tariffs and all that kind of stuff, it's all chess game. And it's not, everybody's cooperating, but it doesn't look like it. Okay, let's get into that. So everybody knows each other's moves already. It's all been orchestrated. They just have to look like they're going tit for tat. You know what I'm saying? Everything's already pre-planned. It just has to look like people are doing this and this is their reaction. That's all it has to look like, because the law of cause and effect and the law of rhythm are in play at this time, which means you create the cause, you control the effect because you are the rhythm. That's one of the universal laws. Thank you. How can we trigger people easily for our benefit? Study the occult. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Study them and study the occult, and you'll be able to do it. You got to know their triggers first. Just like Kanye was wearing that Sean John shirt. He knows a bunch of rappers have been diddied and probably have PTSD behind it, so he wears it. Okay? It's the same thing. You got to know people to know their triggers. Then you got to do what you got to do. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay, so all this stuff going on with China and the bags and the tariffs and this and that. Okay, with Elon Musk and Trump and all this kind of stuff. The world is being geared towards a utopian world, a utopian society where people can have everything. Okay, and in order to do this, the old system has to look like it's being torn down in your eyes. It's the same thing as Kanye is doing, but they're doing it on a grand scale and it's orchestrated. Okay, so now instead of wasting all your money or being excluded from buying a $20,000 bag, you know, the lady that works at McDonald's can go get the same bag if she wants it. So part of the utopian world in society is everyone having what they want and not feeling or living in lack. Okay, that's one of the main things that people need to feel. They need to have access to a lot more than they used to. So that's why we have all this technology. Now we have access to knowledge. Now we have access to goods and things like that that may not have felt available, and stuff like that. Okay, so it's not really anything that was a surprise. It was literally planned out for everyone to be able to have what they want, because this is what's going to happen. Once, like, you know how everybody's shopping on Temu and everybody can order this and everybody has this, and over consumerism, everybody has everything, poor or rich, everybody is over consumer. Okay, they don't feel any type of lack. All right. So now that people are understanding that they don't have a lack for material things, this is raising the frequency of not feeling lack. It's raising the frequency of abundance. of abundance. That's why, with, what is it? Trump is trying to sell golden visas to like billionaires and millionaires from other countries to come into the US to bring in more a frequency of abundance and, prosperity. All right. So that's what y'all got to understand. Everything is to create another frequency. Everything is cause and effect while someone is controlling the cause and effect. It's an illusion. Okay. When you deal with magicians, you're going to deal with illusion. So when you deal with the magicians, you're going to deal with illusion. And if you believe the illusion, it's working. But someone who is, understanding of the occult, they see some people call it rituals. Some people see the illusion. They see the loopholes. They see the chess game that's orchestrated, and they just say, oh, okay, I know what they're doing. And don't worry about it. It's just trying to create a utopian society, and each day they're getting closer and closer by allowing people to feel like they have access to certain things that they didn't have access to before, and not making a feeling of lack for anyone. Okay, how to control personal downfall with law of rhythm. By controlling your own downfall. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Like Kanye. Study Kanye, baby. He's a really good alchemist and magician. He will create his own downfall, but transmute it into free advertisement and attention and going viral. Okay? That's exactly the example I'm talking about. Okay? Now, right. What are the best way to manifest? By feeling what you want. Feeling already rich. So when you feel paid, do money spells or manifest money when you get paid. When you receive a bunch of money, that frequency that you're feeling, use it to manifest more. Sprinkle, sprinkle. See yourself already where you want to be. Okay, so next thing I was going to talk about was loopholes. Loopholes are like controlling cause and effect. Transmutation, loopholes, finding ways around things, getting things done regardless. Okay, this is magician stuff. This is alchemy. Laws are put in place to be able to find loopholes. That's why Trump is the president, because he found loophole. Okay, sprinkle, sprinkle. Now, when you find loopholes, if you look for loopholes in business, in politics, in everything, that's a form of, alchemy and cause and effect and law of rhythm. It's very simple. Okay, occultists know this. That's why most people don't worry. Most people don't suffer from quote unquote karmic whatever, because they understand alchemy. You can transmute a lot of stuff, use it to your advantage, find a loophole, and use mentalism and justify it in one single swoop. So that's why a lot of people that practice the occult and mentalism, they don't think about stuff like religion or spirituality. Literally, the occult is creating illusion for the masses and getting the results that people desire and want, all while, benefiting the person that is using it or a group that's using it. You said AI is trying to replace real women. No, they're not. There are a lot of dusty men out there that can't get access to women. And mentally, they're upset. So instead of creating rage, they're just going to give them some AI version of a woman so they can calm them butts down. Okay. That's all that is. It's the same thing as you being able to get a Birkin bag cheap now. Okay. It's all orchestrated. You can't replace anything. All you can do is allow people to feel like there is not a lack. And once people feel that there's no lack, the frequency of abundance will arise. Their brain will start clicking and finding more abundant ways to be abundant. You know what I mean? If you're constantly living in a frequency of lack, oh, I can't afford this. Oh, I can't have this woman. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't do that. I can't. Your vibration is of lack. And if quote unquote people are saying there is going to be a recession, but now you're able to get whatever you want and there's no lack, what recession, baby? The loophole. If everybody is feeling abundant and prosperous and can have what they want, the frequency is going to rise as far as the frequency of abundance and less of lack. It's not going to be there. Okay, so it's all orchestrated. You're working with magicians now. Okay, not your typical everyday blah normal average person. You're working with magicians now. Think about that. Okay. What we're also going to talk about is, okay, being a victim. Let's talk about being a victim because so many people are suffering from being a victim. This is why confidence, you're being shown people with very high confidence a lot now in the media. Okay. Everything that makes the media, all these big reactions towards people's, showing of their confidence. They are trying to get you to be more confident as well. Okay. You know what has happened? People now want to diagnose you versus congratulate you. People want to diagnose you versus see your genius. I'm going to tell you why. There was a time where people would downplay and be humble. Or there was a time when people did not want other people to rise. Now, we're headed towards a utopian world and everybody can shine. Everyone can be confident. No one has to shrink. Okay. And check yourself if you're trying to humble and make people shrink versus encourage or be an example of someone who is competent. Okay, because this is what we're going towards. This is why those people are downloading those apps that say nice and positive things to them. AI, Chat GPT. That's why you have all this stuff at your fingertips because they're trying to make you a more confident, smart, intelligent person that doesn't have lack. This is how you create a utopian society. People have to believe in themselves. Okay. So those who get it, get it. Those who don't, don't. And it's not for everybody. So eventually they'll get it because it'll be trendy. And once it's trendy, then all the people that are followers who don't think for themselves will jump on board anyway. So that's the whole point about social media and influencers. They will just influence you into confidence because a lot of people can't get it on their own. They don't study enough. They don't understand. It's not it's not about other people validating you. It's about your own level of knowledge, confidence, and your own frequency and vibration. So this is why you have so much in place to create and go towards this utopian society. Because if you don't know any better and all you know to do is follow the trend, you're still going to be getting in the right direction. All right. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay. Let me see what y'all are talking about in these comments. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can you transmute chaos like Kanye? Of course. He create chaos to transmute it. Okay. Kanye was doing what China was doing a long time ago with Balenciaga. He bought a bunch of Balenciaga stuff and sold it for $20 on his website. He's doing the same thing China did. He already did that. He sold Yeezy for $20. His manufacturer and his stuff is in Wyoming. He already know what he's doing, y'all. I'm trying to help y'all to understand what he's trying to teach y'all. And some people are so adamant on not liking him, where they're saying he's good or bad. Y'all can't even get the information and read between the lines and see the symbolism. So I don't care. I don't care what he's talking about. I'm looking as to what he's doing and why he's doing it. You know what I'm saying? He's been learning this for so long. Exactly. He already knows he finna do. People are blinded by emotions, and that's one of the things you cannot be if you're an occultist. You got to learn how to control those emotions, and you can't be blinded by fear. You can't be blinded by emotion. And you can't think in terms of good or bad. This is why a lot of people stick to spirituality or religion, because they can't wrap their mind around the occult. They're too conditioned. And how to get unconditioned? Let's see. There's lots of books where you love to hate the villain. The villain is the main character, but you end up liking the villain because the villain always has a backstory and a reason why they're doing what they're doing. So they've been using this trope lately when it comes to making movies or recreating like old things. They're doing it from the villain's perspective, because a lot of times people don't realize there is no good or bad. There's just perspective. There's just circumstance. There's a reason why people are doing this versus that. You don't know. You only know from what people told you or from your own perspective. So this is another helpful thing when trying to understand the occult. Nothing is good or bad. It just is. It is what it is. Okay. So it just is what it is. People can use it for good or bad, but it is what it is. If you're spiritual, you believe in karma. If you're an occultist, you believe in transmutation. Okay. So like one is a little bit higher. That's why a lot of people do not believe in karma, because there are occultists. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay. They control people's mentalism. They control a lot of stuff with their transmutation, their loopholes, their ability to use the law of rhythm and the law of correspondence, which is cause and effect. They're able to do this on a grand scale. And karma is just for people that are manifesting a reason to do anything. You know, I'm doing this because I'm going to get that. I'm not going to do this because I don't want to get that. You know, it's not very magician-like or divine. You know what I mean? It's accepting things versus creating things. Perception. Yeah. So the book that I recommend for any beginner learning universal law and about alchemy and all that kind of stuff is the Kabbalion. And that's on Amazon. It's linked in my Amazon spiritual items list. And also, I don't know if it's still available, but it's called The Complete Idiot's Guide to Alchemy. That's a good book as well. If I would read the Kabbalion first and then that one. But yes, sprinkle, sprinkle. Most of your law books are definitely written with the occult symbolism. Most courtrooms have occult symbolism. Everything you do that has to do with law is the occult. Sprinkle, sprinkle. If you deal with certain people in this law system, like higher up, they know the occult as well. And a lot of people can trigger other people as well for different outcomes. Okay, sprinkle, sprinkle. By their symbols, by what they say, by what they wear, colors, anything, the day that they do something on. If someone understands and knows the occult, people are always, quote unquote, sending them messages that most people just don't understand because they're not into the occult, which can change outcomes of things. Okay, just know that. People are always sending messages left and right through media stories, what may be going viral, what some celebrity said, you know what I'm saying? What they choose to post. So, depending on who's watching, who's being triggered, who's getting information, that's how they put messages out and trigger other people and get different results. Oh, thank you, T. Thomas. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I always thought you was wrong about karma, but you just showed me you can transfer it, not suffer. Thank you. Okay, T. Thomas. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Yes. Thank you, sir. Yes, I learned this a long time ago because so many people out there have transmuted what, they make good on what other people perceive as bad. They make good on it. You know what I mean? So no matter what, their guilt is not a frequency. They're not attracting anything now. So it's like a lot of times in the occult or in certain occult practices, if people will tell you something and they will give you the information you need, and if you still agree and move forward, you just agreed to it. So there's zero guilt and zero karma. You see what I'm saying? So pretend someone says, okay, we're going to do this, but I'm not responsible for how you feel afterwards. I'm not responsible for anything that you feel afterwards. So do you still want to do this? Do you agree? They'll be like, yeah, I'm excited. So once you agree to that, and they're not responsible for how you feel, even if it's something against them, you invited it, you accepted it, you wanted it. So there's no guilt, no blame. There you go. They will always tell you, they will always let you know what they're trying to do before they do it. Therefore, no karma, no guilt, no blame. You can't point the finger. You said someone says a disclaimer. Yeah. That's why on all those pharmaceutical commercials, they tell you all the good stuff first. They have somebody running through a field with a dandelion. And then at the end of the commercial, they tell you all the side effects. So when you take whatever you took, you can't say you didn't know. Okay? It's the same thing. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Willing participants. Exactly. Just like, so even though you said yes, you can't go back and say, well, I feel some type of way now. I'm mad at this person. I wish them the worst. And karma's going to get them. No, it's not, because you agreed and you were willing to participant. Okay? And you knew what you was getting into. You're a grown woman. You're a grown man. Period. And also, if you look at things from a different perspective, let's say you did something to help someone, but at the same time, you may have made someone else angry. Well, you weigh what's more important. That's how people transmute their guilt and their quote unquote karma that does not exist to a lot of people because they understand how this works. If you are in a system or a spiritual practice or a religion that uses karma as a control mechanism to keep you within the rules of that religion, then that's when you are able to understand and use karma in a system. You see what I'm saying? So if you are of a certain religion or a certain spirituality where karma is taught as a law, then it will work. But if you're in an occult, if you're on an occult level of mentalism, spirituality does not transfer to that. It's a whole different system. Okay? So think about it like that on different levels. So the more you know, the more you learn. That's why these higher up people never really suffer from it. And they keep thriving and doing what they do because they practice the occult. You said just because you were invited, don't go. LOL, don't drink it. Exactly. I've been invited to a lot of stuff I did not attend. Okay, sprinkle, sprinkle. So, if you're in the occult, you got to think bigger. This is one thing. When you practice magic, it's one thing. But when you practice magic on a higher magic in the occult, on the occult level, on the high occult level, you think way bigger. It's not for small things. Okay? Because the occult is symbolism, and it works on your psyche and it works on your mental. It's not for little small things. Okay? That's manifesting, and that's your magical spells. Okay, those are for small things. So if you are, spells are to trigger yourself and other people that know about them. Okay, so think about a spell as a self trigger and a trigger to people that are involved if they know about it. Okay, that's on a smaller level. So let's say you do a love spell. Now your mind is being told subconsciously that love is coming your way. So naturally, your subconscious mind is going to prepare for that by doing things a lot different than you would have done if you had not done that spell. You're not going to look good that day. Maybe you would have thrown on some sweatpants versus a dress. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you would have been meaner versus nicer. It gets you to have subtle changes subconsciously that lead to what you are trying to manifest or accomplish with your spell. All right. So it's on a smaller level of just you and whoever is involved. Now they have group rituals and group spell work. And this is when you have the same, you're trying to create the same outcome for everyone. So a lot of people do group prosperity spells or magic or rituals because everybody wants money, right? So this works on a bigger scale in a group. Now you have the occult symbolism that a lot of the media uses, celebrities use it, politicians use it, because you're now trying to affect and create on a larger, grander scale. So you use the occult symbols. Okay, so one is more for major things, reading major signs. One is for smaller groups and also for self. That's literally it. Spirituality is a way of living in a spiritual way because you want more meaning to life than just the mundane everyday, everyday thing. Religion is when you just want to be told what to do and given some rules and do them so that you can scratch, deeper meaning off your list because you're not really looking for deeper meaning. Until you are looking for deeper meaning, you're not going to graduate from religion into spirituality. You know what I'm saying? So people that are religious are just checking the boxes. Okay, done that, prayed, did my prayer, did this, da da da. People that are spiritual, religion wasn't enough for them. They were looking for more. Okay, spirituality then sometimes leads to magic, taking power in your own hand. Okay, programming yourself, reprogramming yourself. Then once you practice magic, now you're ready, or probably more interested in the occult, seeing what is hidden. Okay, understanding things on a grander scale. So it goes in that order sometimes. You said religion always seemed lazy to me. It is. It's for those who don't want to think about it and they just want to say that they're a part of some religion so people can think that they're a decent, good person. It's also for people that religion is also for some people that are trying to, what is the word? Redeem themselves from something that they feel guilty about in their past. You know what I'm saying? Or religion, people that are super religious are trying to make up for something that they've done in their past. And they feel that's the only way to redeem themselves. You know, a lot of people that grew up religious, a lot of people that are hiding something also use being over religious to hide something. So that's why I feel like the next step after religion is definitely spirituality, because you're looking for more. You've already faced the fact that this is just to check off some boxes to say that you're a decent person, but you got to do the self-work. The self-work comes in with spirituality. And then the magic is taking control of your life, not making excuses and taking accountability. Then the occult is seeing everything that you missed, everything that you've been missing, all the mentalism at play, and you're going to read between the lines and understand what everybody's actually doing. That's all it is. So there's levels to it. All religion and all spirituality does have alchemy in it in some form or fashion, because it's not original. Okay, it's not the oldest thing. There was alchemy before there was religion. There was the occult knowledge before there was religion. There was a lot of stuff before there was religion. Is Diddy getting his karma? Sprinkle, sprinkle. When you think about law, that's not really karma, because he should have got it a long time ago. People were tired. It's not about karma. It's when people decide to do something as a group, they're going to get it done. So his woman, his ex Cassie, Wendy Williams, and all of them people that have been trying to tell y'all for years said what they said. And people started looking into it. You know, people started listening to what people have been telling them. It's called justice. It's not called karma, because if you break the law and you get caught, that's just justice. It has nothing to do with karma. Okay. It's legal. Miss Wendy. And you see how they try to mess. Okay. So when they try to mess with all these people that were spilling the tea, like Jamie Foxx was spilling the tea, Wendy Williams was spilling the tea. I'm sure Kanye been spilling the tea. Cassie finally opened up and spilled all the tea. You know what I mean? So a lot of these people were targeted, and Cat Williams, all the people that were deemed cuckoo and cray cray just kept spilling the tea, and they did not care. And eventually someone's going to do the research. Someone's going to read between the lines. Somebody's going to do the more investigation. And so when all of that happened, like, there are some rappers that are so symbolic that they tell you what's getting ready to happen before it even goes down, if you understand the occult. And so I don't really want to get too deep into that, because I don't know if they want their tea out there like that. But there are some very occult, rappers that are deeply into the occult that already said what was about to go down. And so people that knew, they understood what was getting ready to go down. But a lot of times, like people like in that industry that were probably triggered or affected as a victim by Diddy, they have PTSD. Okay, because I'm just gonna tell y'all like that. That's why Kanye wears the Sean John shirt to trigger them people's PTSD that did him dirty. You know what I'm saying? Or that denounced him, or that were trying to handle him. Y'all remember when Kanye came out and said, "Don't send none of these rappers, these fake rappers over here, Diddy, and don't try to handle me," and da 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 da. So a lot of people that were spilling tea on him, they were safe. Okay, some of them weren't. Some of them barely made it through, but they were protected by people that knew the truth. Okay, sprinkle, sprinkle. And a lot of people were okay, because I have some inside information. I'm not gonna never tell it. I ain't never gonna tell that tea, because that's for me to know and not for y'all. But a lot of people don't realize that they say Diddy was doing rituals and stuff. And when you're doing occult rituals with a group of people doing some crazy stuff that's going to trigger them later with the occult, you're literally programming them with symbolism in the occult, placing triggers within them to where if certain things are done, they're going to flip out. You know what I'm saying? Raising their frequency with certain chemistry that will allow them to flip out with certain frequencies. Okay, that I'm just gonna tell y'all that. That's just that simple. It's very easy to understand. But I can't tell y'all all the tea, but I know a lot of stuff. And there are a lot of people that can't even function normally anymore because of knowing too much of what, Okay, we'll use an example of a person that can't function because of what happened mentally with PTSD. A lot, y'all know Britney. So Britney Spears, yes. There are a lot of people out there like her, but you'll never really know it. They're hiding it better. Yeah, y'all are naming them because they've been triggered so much. And that's why, yeah. So y'all have to understand that. And they use the occult, and then they use mentalism, and they use all that kind of stuff to do it. But see, we have access to this knowledge. We can use it for our own benefits, our own level of knowledge, that we know exactly what's being done, why it's being done, what's happening, so it doesn't affect you the same. Okay? So think about this. If all those poor young people had known occult knowledge before they went in, they would have recognized it and wouldn't have been as affected by it so much. Okay. If you know what's happening, you're not going to be affected by it as much. Or you're going to be able to be suspicious, like Cat Williams or, Kanye. When you know a little bit about a little bit, it's not as powerful to you. So, and I always tell people, if y'all are going to enter into any type of entertainment industry, y'all better know some stuff for real, or know somebody that knows some stuff that can teach you. Okay. Read books, baby. You got to read books. You can't go on TikTok. You can't go on Instagram. It's in these old occult books. It's in reading between the lines of stuff, universal law, alchemy, the occult, spiritual alchemy, all of that. You got to learn it. If you're not a student of it, you're going to be a victim of it. I'm going to repeat that. If you're not a student of the occult and you deal in certain industries, you're going to be a victim of it. How to combat a narcissist you live with, universal law, or become one yourself. Sprinkle, sprinkle. You got to be a better one than they are. Just like how to beat an occultist, you become a better occultist than they are. Sprinkle, sprinkle. If you can't deal with them, don't deal with them. You know what I mean? Jackie, you got to be on the same level as them mentally. That way you're able to see what they're doing before it's even done. Like I always tell people, I've never come in contact with a narcissist. Why? Because I'm not a victim. Why? Because I see exactly what they're doing as soon as they start. And it doesn't work. You see? So you got to become a bigger narcissist, which means by becoming a bigger narcissist, you understand what they're doing as soon as they start. So therefore, it will not work. Think of Kim and Kanye. Both of those people are very narcissistic. All right? Period. Now look at him and his other wife. One was very narcissistic. The other one was not. You see the difference? Kim was a narcissist. Kanye was a narcissist. Okay. Fast forward. Kanye's a narcissist. Bianca was not. Now do you understand the power dynamic? You will never meet a narcissist if you are a narcissist. If you can't become one, stop dealing with them. How to recognize one? You already know. If you're not the main character of the show, they are. Got to be main character energy all the way. Most occultists are main characters in their life. Hi, SHERA. Looking beautiful like always. Any books on how to manipulate people with magic? Actually, I don't know about manipulating people with magic, but manipulating people mentally, yes. The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Okay, The Art of Seduction, also by Robert Greene. Sprinkle, sprinkle. All is mental. Okay, so you have to be a main character, and you have to have main character energy if you don't want to meet narcissists anymore. Okay? There you go. Okay, so I was saying this earlier. If you don't learn about the occult, you're going to be fooled a lot in your lifetime. You're not going to be able to see certain things or know certain things that, most people aren't going to see. They're only going to see the surface level of certain things. So that's why it's important to know. Plus, you don't need to get too deep into it. You just need to learn enough to understand what you're witnessing, what you're experiencing, what people are doing, and then that's it. Get the message and get out. Thank you, Maria. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Because some of y'all get too fixated on certain things, and a lot of people start reading and studying something, and they try to see everything and everything. Use it only when needed, not on everything. If you start to look at everything, then everything, like Kanye said, if your life and people are asking you questions and you try to figure out how to answer the question the right way, your entire life is going to be a test. That's how it is when you start studying the occult and you try to decode everything. You just need to only decode what you want to decode and leave it at that. Okay. So it's kind of like you don't decode something. Okay. I'll use this analogy. Pretend like if people aren't paying you to decode, you don't decode. You don't just do it because you're bored or because you're trying to find something. Do it because it needs to be done, not because you want to do it or not because you're bored. Do it when you're trying to really look in deeply into something at the moment, and then go back to doing whatever you're doing. Okay. Because if you start looking too much, people aren't going to take what you say valuably because it's going to be too much. Like, you know what I mean? Too much. People want to know certain things, get in and get out. Okay, thank you, Ree. Do you think certain topics are pushed to confuse or trigger people on social media? Sometimes you see people engaging in topics, and I think the conversations be set up. Yeah, of course. Sprinkle, sprinkle. A lot of stuff is social experiments. A lot of stuff is to get people to influence the masses on a certain level in order to create another frequency. So I was saying this earlier. We're trying to get towards more a utopian society where everybody has everything they need and want. You know what I'm saying? And so in order to do that, a lot of things have to be put in place for people to understand that they live in a world of abundance. Okay, that's why they have the over consumerism. That's why they have all these bags in China coming out. Everybody can afford to have what they want now. Okay. If you're getting mad about certain things and emotionally triggered about certain things, some things are there to make you upset so that you question things. Because sometimes you're not going to wake up unless you do get mad first and look deeper into something. Some people are already past that and can see through it already, and they don't have to get mad. So the difference between someone who is, knowledgeable in the occult, they won't get mad because they see exactly what's being done. People that are not familiar with the occult symbolism and stuff like that, or what's being done on a grander scale, they're going to get mad because they're being triggered, because that's for them. That's to get their energy. That's to get their attention. That's to get them angry to wake up. But if you're already awake, you ain't finna get mad. You're just gonna say, oh, I know what they're doing. It don't even matter no more. Whatever. So it's like that. Some people can control their emotions because they can see straight through it. Some people are being triggered to get mad, to ask questions, to wake up. Okay, because the first step in actually waking up is to literally get mad enough to do it. Mad enough to question things, mad enough to look deeper. Okay. You said the truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Goddess essence energy. That's true. That's what it is. So who cares? A lot of people think, being unbothered means you just know. And everything is being done. And it doesn't raise your blood pressure anymore. You know what I mean? It's like especially like on my other channel, when people start projecting their insecurities and being mean and stuff like that, I already know they're just projecting their insecurities because they lack self-esteem or, the ability to apply the knowledge that I'm giving. I don't take offense to it because I see straight through it. It doesn't bother me because I know why they're doing it. Sometimes I feel sorry for them. You see? So understanding things on a deeper level, whether it's occult knowledge, symbolism, psychology, how people emotionally respond to things, how you react to those things is very important. If you're someone that reacts to everything with anger, without understanding, I think it's time to start to ask questions. Well, why are they doing this? Well, ask why. And keep asking why until you get all the answers. That way, you don't have to react to it at all because you'll understand. If you're ever mad, just look from the other person's perspective and ask yourself, why are they doing this? Or what could be the reason? What could be the reason that they're doing this? Well, maybe this, and that, or maybe this, and that. Okay, well, I'm not mad anymore because maybe if I were in their position, I would probably do the same thing or something similar. So now I understand why they're doing this. Oh, I'm so sad. I feel sorry for you now. Okay, well, you know what? Unbothered. That's how you look at it. You said multi-perspectively. Exactly. You said, what if you don't feel good around people like narcissists? Then get away from them. You're not ready to deal with someone on that level. You're not strong enough to deal with narcissists. You got to get stronger. You got to ask yourself, why are they like that? If you understand a narcissist, you can deal with them. If you don't understand them, you can't deal with them. Perfect example. You don't understand them, you're not going to be able to deal with them. How do you transfer karma? You don't believe in it. You graduate to the occult knowledge versus spirituality. or a religion. Okay. You start to see everything as frequency, the law of rhythm, the law of correspondence, transmutation. You start to see loopholes. You start to see stuff like that. You're the magician. You're the manipulator. You don't take what's given. You don't believe in something because someone told you to. You become the magician. You become the You become the creator. So therefore, you're not in a system of spirituality anymore. You're creating one almost. Because think about it. Who created religion? An occultist. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Hey, sprinkle, sprinkle. The Occult College in the house. Hey, how you doing? Y'all, he was Terrain was on the other night when we talked about water rituals and magic. If y'all didn't check out that video, it's the last video that we did on this channel. Y'all need to check it out. And y'all need to go subscribe to his YouTube channel too. He does lots of videos on occult knowledge and also spells and rituals. Sprinkle, sprinkle. You watched it. It was good, Maria. Yes. We have a lot of videos up there. I'm sure y'all know. Y'all know who Terrain is. Y'all know the Occult College. Okay. Okay, so yeah, occultists created religion. So there you go. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I'm going to explain this in my opinion. Okay, so if occultists wanted to rule over a large group of people, you got to give them a set of rules to where you're not there to enforce them. They'll enforce it upon each other by invoking fear and all this kind of stuff, putting rules down, having consequences, cause and effect. You're going to use a cult to create a religion. Okay, and you're going to give a reward system. You're going to promise things in the afterlife. You're going to give a little spirituality. You're going to put a little story. You're going to take a little bit from the occult knowledge from the old days, from the old pagan religions of the monotheistic, ways of thinking. You're going to sprinkle it in and disguise it as angels or saints. And then you're going to just give people the religion. But literally an occultist made religion to control and use mentalism on a large group of people that they don't have to constantly loom over and govern because they'll govern themselves. Okay. So religion is created by occultists to control a large group of people without having to do too much. Okay. If a lot of people think about this, back in the old days when you had people just running around doing all kind of crazy stuff, people had to put something in place. Now that we're more civilized, now we're moving towards a more utopian society. And that's why all this, AI and technology is being introduced, because now, we've passed that. Moving forward. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay. Yeah. And they will tell you the occult is evil so they don't get found out. Exactly, Nina. Stay away from all things where you can actually learn more. And condemn those who are learning more. Because if people were studying the occult way back then, if everyone had access to the occult knowledge way back then, religion wouldn't have worked. Okay. Why do some occultists take it too far, like Diddy? No, absolutely. Okay, well, no matter who you are, you have a past. Every villain has a past. Okay, every villain has a story. I'm not here to tell his story, but a lot of people didn't grow up so well. You know what I mean? A lot of people have triggers. A lot of people have stuff wrong with them that make them do what they do. When they get a little sense of power and knowledge, they may incorporate it in that. It doesn't mean that the occult is evil. It means the person's intention, their past, maybe their triggers have a lot to do with it. If you take the occult out of it, he still probably was going to do some crazy stuff because of how he grew up. You know what I'm saying? Some people just use it because they know it. But if they didn't know it, they would have probably done something else similar or on the same scale. It just might not have been very ritualistic. Okay? Sprinkle, sprinkle. You said what? Yeah. So, depending on your origin story and how you were raised and how your childhood was and what you've experienced, will also have a lot to do with what you do with your power when you get it. Okay? Think about it. That's why you got to treat the children good, make sure the children are safe, make sure the children are protected because they grow up to be adults. Okay? And I've seen it with my own eyes, people that have been neglected or abused. It's something in their minds, not all, but some, that think it's okay for other kids to experience that because they did. Or, you know what I mean? Or they don't try to protect them because they say, well, it happened to me. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful how you treat your children and who you live them with. And you got to understand, yes, the children are the future. Teach them well, let them lead the way with Houston. Okay. So some people didn't watch after their children. Some people's children became victims. And so those children grew up to create more victims. Okay. Whether they studied the occult or not, maybe they took it to the next level with their power and their occult knowledge, but it started off because they weren't protected. They were victims. So they wanted to create other victims so that they could feel what they felt, so they wouldn't be alone. It's very easy. Okay. Doesn't make it right at all, but that's what happened. Okay. What about marriage and happiness? You're already supposed to be happy on your own. Adding another person is just an added bonus. Okay. If you don't have happiness within, if you're not complete as one, another person will not help you. Okay. Sprinkle, sprinkle. They'll just, they can just give you some money, provide for you, and y'all can have a lot of stuff in common and enjoy life together. But your happiness is not dependent upon another person. Okay. You said hurt people hurt people. Okay. Thoughts on soulmates. Ridiculous. Okay. Do I believe in goddesses? I believe in myself, yes. Believe in yourself too. Sprinkle, sprinkle. The archetype. Thoughts about twin flames. Spiritual woo-woo. Remember we talked about spirituality, religion, and the occult. Okay. Spiritual woo-woo. That's all it is. Don't get caught up in it. Twin flame. My soulmate. That's just a term of endearment from spiritual woo-woo people. And then they really believe it so that they can keep in control of the other person or brainwash a person into thinking that's the only one for you. Like, what if your soulmate is on the other side of the world and is 80 years old? That don't even speak your same language. How does that work? You know what I'm saying? No better. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Astrology. Think outside of the solar system, and there goes astrology. Okay, sprinkle, sprinkle. Yep, there's all types of soulmates. They're all romantic. So if you think about it, if you want to go spiritual, everybody's a soulmate to each other. So everybody's your soulmate. Sprinkle, sprinkle. There you go. All right, move along. It's not special anymore. If everybody's your soulmate, then who cares? You may have more things in common with this person than the next person, but literally everybody is your soulmate if you all come from one source of energy, right? So just find people you have stuff in common with. All right. Okay. You say, yep, nothing special. Exactly, girl. It's nothing special. Just people you got stuff in common with that like you. There, that's all. Thank you, Goddess Laurel. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Appreciate that. Yes, move along. Let's get off of this silliness. Move along. I know. Okay, so let me tell y'all something. If y'all are at a point now in your journey where you are spiritual and you do believe in this stuff, you're supposed to believe in it for a short amount of time until you don't believe it, until you understand that you start asking more questions and thinking bigger. Okay, you're supposed to get there eventually. All right. If not, they're supposed to stay exactly where you are. If you never look further. What books or people are good for studying and developing main character energy? Sprinkles from Kanye West. There you go. There you go, ma'am. Sprinkle, sprinkle. He is main character energy if I have never seen it before. All right, y'all stop asking me silly romantic woo-woo questions. You got something in common with them. They like you. They got some money. Go for it. All right, sprinkle, sprinkle. Y'all doing too much over there. That's why y'all get caught up. You know what? If I really wanted to get someone obsessed with me and do anything for me, I'm going to tell them all this stuff too. Oh, you're my soulmate. I had a dream about you. You're the one for me. There's no one else like me out there you're ever going to find. Give me this money. I will use it to manipulate y'all as well. I'll use it. That doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that I believe in it, but I'll definitely use it if other people believe in it, because that's what occultists do. Okay? If you want to believe in it, then you're going to be a victim of it. If you understand how it works, you can use the term soulmate to get someone else to do what you need them to do, but you can't sit there and believe it because you're the magician of it all. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, nobody knows who I am, right? If no one knows who I am, they don't know I'm on TikTok. They don't know I'm on Instagram. They don't know I'm on YouTube, right? And they say, do you believe in soulmates? And they got some money and they think I'm their soulmate. I'm finna say, yep, sure do. You see where I'm going with it? I'm finna benefit off of it. I'm finna transmute that into getting what I want. I don't literally believe in it, but if they need to think that I do in order to use my symbolism and my knowledge to benefit myself, I'm going to pretend I do. You see, occultists and a lot of people that you see going to church, that are in the church, they don't believe in none of that stuff. They're using it to get money, power, and to control a mass group of people. None of them believe in half the stuff or most of the stuff. They don't. Just like most people don't believe in soulmates, they use it as a form and a method to get you to do what they want you to do. Very easy. So you can believe it if you want to, when it's beneficial to you, when you can use it to benefit and gain, but then understand that it's just a tool. That's all. It's just a tool, baby. If you fall for it, then you know other people will fall for it. So use it if you need to. But those who know won't fall for it. Like I won't fall for it, but I'll use it if I need to. All right, sprinkle, sprinkle. Mm-hmm. Okay, so another difference between the occult magic and spirituality. People are on different levels of their journey. So most people that are just starting out, they probably were raised in a religion. Okay. And then when they said, okay, well, I'm going to explore spirituality, they probably explored different forms of spirituality. Then they say, okay, well, I'm going to practice magic. Then they start practicing magic and taking control, accountability, and all that kind of stuff. Then after they are practicing magic, taking control, accountability, not, super religious anymore, then they start to study symbolism and why things are the way they are, how you can use things mentally. Because a lot of people that do practice magic also practice mentalism, A lot of people that practice magic practice mentalism. So it won't really work without it. That's why so many people believe in it, because whatever practitioner or whatever person that's practicing magic, made the other person believe. And so now they're now mentally involved in whatever the subconscious message was behind the spell work, behind the magic practitioner. So now they believe in that person's magic because they were taught to believe in magic. Okay. They don't know the occult. They just know the magic. They just know the spirituality. They just know the religion. So when you don't know the occult aspect of it, you'll start to believe in the magic. And the magic don't work unless other people believe in it. Okay. You got to have more than one people believing in it. Same thing with religion. It doesn't work without people believing. All right. Mm-hmm. Do you think you can evolve mentally if we are into the occult knowledge? Yes, because you're not going to take everything at face value. You're not going to see everything as good or bad. You're going to see everything as what is and why it's that way. And you're going to start to read between the lines, and you're not going to take people at face value anymore. You know what I mean? You're going to look a little bit deeper. You're going to be a little bit more observant. You're going to be able to read people, psychologically. You're going to be able to understand what's happening before other people or on a deeper level than most people. You're not going to be as reactive emotionally at all, because you're going to understand what's happening, and you're not going to fall for whatever it is that people are trying to trigger you with, whether it's the media or just some random person or, somebody that's trying to trigger everybody. You're not going to get triggered. You're not going to get pulled into it. You're going to be like, okay, I know what they're doing. Oh, well, whatever. Okay. What do you do if you're paranoid? Focus on something else. Okay. A lot of people that are paranoid are that way because they think that they're doing too much. Okay, let me tell you something. People think that they're more important than what they really are. That's when people start becoming paranoid. When you think you're more important than you actually are. Okay. When people do stuff to you, or people have betrayed you, sometimes you become paranoid that other people will too. So if you've been betrayed by someone and that you trusted or something like that, you're going to become paranoid and not trust other people. It's just a form of protection. But at the same time, you don't need to be overly paranoid. You just need to understand that you don't trust everybody. The lesson that you were taught is not to trust everybody, not to be paranoid of everybody, but just don't trust them. Trust in the beginning of most relationships is sadly just freely given. You don't know a thing about the person that you're dealing with. You just blindly trust them. Well, your lesson, instead of, Being paranoid about everything is not to blindly trust people, but to do your research. Then, the more you learn, the more you know, the less you're paranoid. Okay. The less you blindly trust, the less you'll be paranoid. So stop trusting people at face value. Make them earn their place. Make them earn your trust. If you're paranoid that people are doing this and this and that against you, make them earn your attention. Main character energy. Make them earn a place in your mind. You know what I mean? Sprinkle, sprinkle. So that's a good way to look at being paranoid. Make them earn a place in your vocabulary, in your mind, whatever. Make them earn it. And some people that are overly paranoid, they will try to transmute that paranoia by triggering the people that they're paranoid about. Okay. That's what you call, like, a lot of people that are paranoid will try to trigger the people that are paranoid, that they're paranoid about. That's why Ye wears the Sean John shirt. All his rap friends that he's paranoid about, that knows stuff about him, he's triggering them because he know they've been diddied. That's why he wears the Sean John shirt, to trigger their PTSD. All right. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Why to deal with religious family members when you only believe in yourself? Oh, how to deal with them. Just let them have their religion. A lot of people need religion because they don't have anything else. They can't think outside of the box. They don't want to. They've been trained well. They're like, you can't wake everybody up at the same time. And not everybody's going to wake up at the same time or at all, maybe. They're happy with what they got. They can check their boxes off for, doing what's right, and then go back to work and go sit in front of the TV. That's just, maybe they're just filler people. That's what I call them, filler people. All right. Just let them be. If they try to convert you and tell you other things, just say, well, you know what? I'm good, but thanks for sharing. Gotta go. Okay. Yep. You said, what if you're paranoid of entities attacking you? Then you might be doing too much. Okay, so here's the thing. Entities are attacking you every day. You know what they're called? Germs. But your body and your immune system is very strong. That's your protection. You know what I'm saying? Mentally and psychologically, since you've been taught about science, biology, you have this weird paranoid feelings that entities are attacking you, ma'am. There's germs on you right now. Go wash your hands. Get this holy water and sprinkle it on you. Get some hand sanitizer. There literally are things attacking you right now. They're called germs. But your body's immune system is strong enough, hopefully, take your vitamins, to combat that. Now, psychologically, mentally, in the back of your subconscious mind, you know this. And so when you study entities, demons, people doing stuff, you're triggering that. And now you're feeling, oh my gosh, there's things attacking me. Da, da, da. Yes, ma'am, it's called germs. Just wash your hands. There's things taking my energy. No, it's not, ma'am. You're just too focused on it. The best way to combat that is to focus on something beneficial. Beneficial. If you're always focusing on negative things, you're giving your energy away. Think of your focus as money. Only put it toward what can earn you more money. Only put it towards positive things. If you keep focusing on fear, if you keep focusing on lack, that's what's attacking you. Okay. Sprinkles, turn it around, transmute that energy into prosperity. If you don't know how to do it, I just taught you. If your focus is on anything negative or of lack, that's what's attacking you. Negativity and lack. Flip the script and figure out what you're going to think about that's going to bring you prosperity and abundance instead. Okay. Mm-hmm. And this is another thing about the occult. When you study the occult, you know who you are. You know exactly what and who you are. So you really don't have a lot of fear. Okay. That's why y'all need to study the occult and not just religion and magic. Y'all need to elevate to the occult because all your fear will be gone. Literally. You're like, oh, whatever. I know what that is. Whatever. Symbolic. Blah, blah, blah. You're not going to have much fear if you know about the occult. So if you're living in fear right now, it's because you need to go ahead and elevate up to the occult knowledge, your symbolism, knowing who you are, being a creator, being the magician, wielding the pendulum. You're in control. Take accountability for your life. Go only in the direction and do things that are beneficial to you. Make smarter decisions. Don't blame everything on everybody. People that are powerful, in control, and well-versed in the occult, they deem themselves very powerful. That means they take accountability for a lot of things. And they don't fear too much. Okay? So you got to get to that level mentally. Mm-hmm. Know thyself. Yeah, that's right. Know thyself. Because if you don't, somebody gonna tell you who you are and what to fear and what to be, paranoid about. They're gonna give you all that instead of you understanding who you are. Mm-hmm. Like it was funny. Someone said, "Well, how do you feel about people always watching you? Like, do you think you feel paranoid that people are watching you, or I hope they watching me because I got a bunch of YouTube videos and a bunch of, reels and TikToks out there. I hope they watching. Sprinkle, sprinkle." Religious people get on your nerves. Well, they just think they're doing what's right. The rose pen, you can get these anywhere. Just type in rose pen, baby. You can get them everywhere, anywhere. I got a bunch of them. I keep in my little cup on my desk as decor, but also as functional supplies. Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay, y'all can ask some questions. I kind of got what I wanted to get out about spirituality, magic, and the occult, but I feel like a lot of people needed to know the difference in order to understand. Is black magic the same as white magic? It just depends what you're using it for. Magic is magic. What you're using it for. Money is money. What are you using it for? Fire is fire. What are you using it for? It's the same thing. There's no good or bad. What you're using it for. What are you doing with it? It's the person that's good or bad. It's the person that's using it as black or white. Okay. What books do you recommend for learning occults? Symbolism books. The occult is heavy in symbolism and universal law. It's called Universal Principles or Universal Law. A good book to start off with is The Kabbalion. It will get you into the universal law. It's by the 3 initiates. Start there. And then I would learn spiritual alchemy. You can learn that in an easy book called Complete Idiot's Guide to Alchemy. It's linked in my description bar under spiritual items I recommend on Amazon. I have all the books that I mentioned in there. Just scroll through it, or just, you can find that on there. But start there first, and then you'll find your way. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the difference between me and some people. You know, I don't need a bunch of people around me. Everything I do is pretty much mental, and I'm very creative. Some people need structure, like religion. I don't need structure. Okay. Some people do. Everybody's different. The person who betrayed you talked himself or themselves out of feeling guilty, so karma isn't going to get them. Nope. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Because think about this. Let me tell y'all, because I say this a lot on my other channel. The person that did you wrong, you knew. A lot of time people have red flags. A lot of time people are blinded. A lot of times people allow other people to treat them a certain way and they don't get away from them. You know what I mean? People treat you like you treat yourself. Okay? Think about that for a second. When you start taking accountability instead of pointing the finger, that is where your true power lies. That's where your true magic is. That's where your power is. When you take accountability for the part that you played in them doing whatever they did to you, that's where the power is. That's where the transmutation begins. So, what part did you play in them doing you wrong? Sprinkle, sprinkle. That's where you're going to find it. Thoughts on spirituality and pregnancy? Okay, yeah, you're at a frequency where you're pregnant between two realms. And you're probably going to have a lot more insight, psychic ability, and your frequency is definitely going to be higher. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So when you take accountability for the part you played in your own, whatever happened to you, that's where your power is. That's what you need to change. Okay. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Can spiritual initiation rituals be undone? Honestly, they're just a subconscious. Okay, I'm just going to tell y'all, in my opinion, I'm not saying this is fact. Most initiations and rituals are for your subconscious mind to believe something and walk in that belief system in order to be powerful within it. Okay. Thank you, Goddess Laurel. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Just like a marriage. Think about marriage. That's a ritual. You walk down the aisle, you walk in front of people, stand at the priest or preacher and say your vows and say I do. That's a whole ritual. It doesn't make you any more or less anything except two people that agreed to something. When you divorce, it's over. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter. Some people don't even walk down the aisle. They just go to the courthouse. Some people that are married just walk around acting unmarried. So it's all in your mind. It's all in your mind. Understand it. Remember what a symbolism, occultism, and mentalism is for: to program your mind to believe something, to vibrate on a frequency of believing something. If your memory was erased of your wedding, would you still be married? If you walk down the aisle backwards in a church from the altar to the front door, are you unmarried? Think about it. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay. Everything is to program your mind. People give deeper meaning to things. They want your mind to be programmed to even more with. Okay. But like I said, it can work in a positive way as well. So let's say you got initiated into something. It made you feel more powerful, like you knew more. So you studied more. So you learned more. So you walked taller. So you represented that whatever you were a part of a little bit easier and better, versus feeling like you're not a part of something. You don't belong. Now you're not a part of a group. Now you don't feel like you belong in the group. Now you're doing everything individually. Now you're doubting things. It's all mental. That's one of the things you're going to learn when you study universal law. All is mental. All is mental. Mm-hmm. You said we give meaning to everything. That's right. Mm-hmm. What if you're in a relationship with someone religious and you're not? How do you handle it? Give them the freedom to do what they want spiritually and religiously. They try to drag you into it, then you just tell them, I have my boundaries. I respect your religion, but I'm not going to be a part of it. Everybody has their own boundaries. And if people like you for you, they're going to respect your boundaries. Okay. If they want to convert you and you be a part of their religion, then they don't respect your boundaries. Sprinkle, sprinkle. The reason why people argue and start wars over beliefs is because they've been really brainwashed really hard. Okay. And that's okay because that's what it was for, to brainwash people on that harsh level, to enforce rules, beliefs, and keep people aligned. It's like literally creating an army of people without having them sign up for an army. They just believe so hard that they will defend it with their lives. Okay. Or they will disown their family members, or they will do the most unspeakable things because they've been that brainwashed. Okay. Mm-hmm. So there are religions that condemn certain activities and certain people and certain ways of living. And you have people growing up disowning their own family members because of their religion. And they forget that, if you raise someone from a baby or a child and that's your blood, and a lot of people will turn their backs on their children because of their brainwashing. To me, that's not very divine at all. At all. And I would never want to be part of any type of religion that teaches to disown your own kids. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Even serial killers, mama still love them. Some of them. Do you believe that seeing shadow people in sleep paralysis is a demonic attack? And do you believe that there's power when using the name of Jesus Christ? If you believe it, sprinkle, sprinkle. Yes. GFY, if you believe that's going to stop it in your mind, it will. It's all in what you believe, because if it's not coming from you, it doesn't even work. It's your frequency of when you speak and how you think. If you believe it's going to work, it's the same thing as believing anything will work. Okay. Sprinkle, sprinkle. And like seeing shadow people and having sleep paralysis can be explained medically, psychologically as well. Okay. Scientifically as well. Mm-hmm. So let's say you're on the other side of the world where people aren't Christian, but they're another religion, and they scream out a different name and it works. Okay. Let's say somebody's not religious at all and they like do some type of mama say, mama sa, mama kusa, and it works. That's because their mind is making it work. Okay. Their faith and their ability to command is working. But a lot of people don't want to be seen as divine. They can't fathom themselves as having that much power because they're afraid of it. So they enact another person or another deity because they don't want to be responsible for that much power. This is why people create deities, because they don't want to be held responsible for that much power. Okay? People that are self-aware understand this. They understand why people look to deities, because they don't want that much power. They don't want to wield it. They don't want to be responsible for it. So they only use it when they need it. And when you only use something when you need it, when you call on your higher self or someone, quote unquote, more divine, which is literally your higher self, then that's when you use it. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like you don't want to be always thinking that you're this person in control of everything, because then you're going to try to start controlling everything. You're going to feel bad when stuff doesn't work out because you think you're in control of everything. So you say, you don't have to say, oh, just give it to God. No, just focus on what you need to focus on at the time. But some people can't understand that. They can only understand certain levels of things. So they just use religion for that. When they need to call upon something deeper within themselves to make something work mentally, that's what they call upon. If you know who you are and you're self-aware, you don't really need religion after that. You believe in yourself enough to not walk around with a sense of having too much power or afraid of your own power. People are afraid of their own power. That's where the term God-fearing comes from. That's where the term fear God comes from. Because when you realize that you are divine and ye are gods, you all of a sudden start fearing the responsibility and the amount of power that you have, because you see that it works. A lot of people that have reached self-actualization in their own divinity, they understand this. Some people don't. So if you don't understand it and you fear your most powerful self, that's where the phrase God-fearing comes in, because your most powerful self is divine and godlike, and it can do stuff. But most people don't want to, they suppress it because of their fear of accountability, their fear that they may misuse that power, the fear that they may misspeak. So they suppress it and they only use it when they need to. People are afraid of themselves when they see their true power. They get scared when something works too well. It starts freaking them out. Then they start to see their power, and then they get afraid of it. Okay. So, sprinkle, sprinkle. You said, do you think hell exists? If you believe it exists for you, if someone told you it existed, if you do bad things, they're just trying to keep you from doing bad things. If you do bad things and when you die, your subconscious mind is going to take you to the place that they told you to believe in because you did bad things. After a while, you realize this ain't really doing nothing. It's not really beneficial to you. You're going to wake up and go do whatever you need to do in your afterlife. Okay. So literally it's just a brainwashing mechanism. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a timeout until you realize the door is not locked, nobody's there, and you can go do what you want. In my opinion. So, for example, it's like, let me give a good analogy. If you're in a relationship with somebody and all you do is worry about them, check their messages, check their location, make sure they're not liking stuff on social media of other women, make sure they're not watching, the P word and all this kind of stuff, you're literally in hell right there. You know what I'm saying? Because you chose to suffer. Somebody told you that this was your only option. Somebody told you that man was your only option and you need to make sure that he's doing everything that he's supposed. No, you're running yourself ragged and crazy, believing in this is your only option. No, you have a lot of options. Before there was a concept of hell, there was a concept of bliss. You know what I'm saying? Your dream world, the world where you could create whatever you wanted. People only gave you that scenario to keep you in line, to punish you without being there, to invoke other people pointing the finger and say, ooh, if you do that, you're going to, it's a way to control you without being there. So if you believe in it, you're going to create it in your consciousness. If you don't believe in it, you're going to create something else. Okay. It's up to you what you want to believe. If you like rules and you like the way that it keeps you in line, then believe in it. Some people need it. Like, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm literally being serious. Some people are so undisciplined. They don't think too much. They just want to be told what to do, and they're perfectly happy with that. And I think that's fine. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that if you are beyond that, it's not going to make sense to you anymore. You said men do? You said how to master mentalism? By understanding things instead of pointing the finger and judging things, by understanding things. When you understand something, you can master mentalism. And you can, when you look to understand stuff, you can master mentalism because you know how things work and you know how to, use it in your favor. When you understand why people think the way they do, you can use that in your favor mentally. When you're emotionally mature and stable, you're able to do that. How to be your most powerful self? Know yourself first. You got to know yourself. You got to take full accountability of everything that you do. You can't be blaming everybody for everything. That's number one. You got to come to self-actualization. You're not going to be pointing the finger and blaming, and you're going to be very mature mentally and emotionally. That's for sure. You're going to look at things from a higher perspective, neither good nor bad. Okay. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Hey, I'm live.
Oh.
What's up? Oh, you got a package. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you. Thank you, Layla.
Watch the whole internet, your address. What's coming in?
Oh, Lord.
We're gonna get you.
Oh, Lord. Google Earth. Thank you. Oh, okay. That's something I ordered. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay. Layla was getting off of work. She came home and there was a package. He said, how to become emotionally mature. Be more understanding than reactive. Learn to control your emotions. Stay unbothered. Don't take things personally. Everything is done because of how someone thinks. Understand why. Me and Layla are the same height now. So, yes. Stop thinking about karma if you're an occultist. It doesn't exist for you. It only exists for spiritual and religious people. It doesn't exist for occultists. Y'all have to understand that. And I know a lot of people will argue this, but you've got to understand it. When you're divine and you reach self-actualization, you're past that. You don't see everything as good for or bad. You don't see everything as tit for tat. You see everything as a whole. Okay, so you got to think higher than that. That's occult knowledge. Now, like I said, occult knowledge is also using mentalism to control other people by telling them that something is, to control them. So, as an occultist, I can use karma to benefit me by telling you to believe in it. But it doesn't benefit me to believe in it at all. It only benefits me to tell you to believe in it. Do you see the difference? So that's what that's the difference between occultist, spirituality, magic, and religion. I can use it as a form of mentalism on those who will believe it. Okay, and I said this earlier. Religion was created by the occult. You said Layla was a little girl in the beginning of you watching. Yeah, she's grown now. She's about to go to college. She's driving. She got a job. Sprinkle, sprinkle. She's so smart, y'all. Okay. Do you believe in tarot? If you believe in tarot, choose what you believe wisely. I believe in options. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so if I have some tarot cards and I read you the cards, it's still not set in stone. It's up to you to believe it or not. It's up to you to take the good out of it and apply it to your subconscious mind to lead you to the path, because that's what tarot means, path, that you're trying to get to. You know? So y'all got to be very smart in what you choose to believe, and that everything is not set in stone, and everyone has free will. You got to understand that. Things are put in place. A lot of times things are put in place for certain reasons. Okay. I don't practice any form of limitation. Occultists also know that. Magic versus occult knowledge, very different. You can combine them, but at the same time, if you practice no limits and if you understand the occult and universal law and alchemy, all is mental. All is mental. All is mental. You're going to keep repeating that. All is mental. All is mental. If it's limiting, then it's limiting your what? Mental. You are divine. You are creative. You are able to mentally create, mentally manifest. If whatever you're doing is limiting, it's okay if you put limits on yourself, if that's what you're trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? So if you want to be limitless, you're not going to really deal with certain things at that time. If you're just wanting to entertain yourself, because a lot of stuff, if you know the occult and you understand things on a certain level, you're not going to take things as seriously as other people do, because you don't practice in lack or limits. Okay. But you can learn about things. You can understand what they represent symbolically. You can understand why they exist. But you don't have to be limited by them, if that makes sense. You're reading The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. What do I think of this book? I think it's a good book about a journey a person. I don't want to spoil it, but it's about going on a lifelong journey and realizing that you already have everything that you need within. It's about seeking outside validation and looking for something that you already possess already. And some people have to travel and figure that out because they are unable to look within. Mm-hmm. Sprinkle, sprinkle. The roads always lead back to self. That's right. Are there any past spiritual beliefs that you had and no longer do? Everything I feel like was knowledge. Whether you believe in it or apply it or not, it's still knowledge. You know what I mean? So okay, y'all have to understand this. I never took spirituality, religion, or anything like that serious enough to 100% believe in it. Okay. I did learn. I did understand a lot of stuff. I did study. I was able to know what certain things were. But at the same time, I understood that there were limits on certain things, and I don't believe in limits. So, if that makes sense. So, like, let's just say you memorize a bunch of stuff, you have a bunch of knowledge, you can recite it, you can teach other people it, but that doesn't mean you really believe or go by it, because it's too limiting. Just like teachers in school, they only get a certain thing that they can teach you in their curriculum. They probably want to teach you more, tell you more, but that's not in the curriculum. They'll get, so they just tell you what you need to know, pass the test, and move forward. But most people, they don't remember hardly anything that they learned in school, and it literally is useless once you get into the real world. That's how I look at it. So learn what you need to learn while you're there, and realize that that's not your limit. Okay. It's kind of like that. What do I think about God in the Bible? Man-made, baby. Everything, all religion is made by occultists. Man-made. That's why you can find bits and pieces of it everywhere throughout ancient history, because it's been rewritten by so many different people and so many different pagan and occult beliefs. That's why you can find bits and pieces of it, of other things in it. Okay. It's not an original story. Very symbolic, has a lot of occult meaning in it, but that's it. Metaphor, retellings of old stories from ancient times before the Bible, but very limiting. Now, like I said, some people need it for other reasons, psychological reasons. Not all people need it. Some people need it. Can you break down the difference between spiritual and occultist? Okay, occultist works with symbolism, mentalism, universal law, and alchemy. Spiritual work with spiritual belief systems. Okay. You can combine the two, but occultist is more in symbolism, mentalism, controlling the masses and stuff like that through symbolism and mentalism. Okay, think of like the difference between a guru and a magician. That's the difference between the occultist and a spiritualist. You have like someone that's like talking about meditating, getting your energy together, focusing on this. Great. Then you have someone that's a magician that's going to create an illusion for people to believe something on a grand scale so that they can benefit from it. That's the difference. Okay. And also, occultists can read between the lines of what other occultists are doing so that they know not to fall for the okie doke. It's like a hidden language and a hidden, that's what occult literally means, hidden. So that's the difference. Any recommendations on occult TV shows? That's a good one. Let me think about it. What show did I used to like that was I don't remember. Like, I can't even think about it because most of the time I'm reading occult books. But there's a lot of TV shows that have occult knowledge in them, for sure. Anything that's heavily with symbolism, I would say, or symbols. I probably mentioned some in the past, but I can never think of TV shows on top of my head. What do you understand about Holy Week and chaos spirits ruling the week? Only if you believe that that's true. Because on the other side of the world, they could believe in peaceful week, and that will be also true. You know what I mean? It all depends on what you believe in and what you're going to focus on. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Think about that. On the opposite side of the world, what if it's peace week? They're going to believe what the people tell them to believe. You said create your own week. Exactly. Remember, religion and spirituality are definitely man-made. People will tell you what to believe, when to believe it, how to believe it. They put some limits on it, whatever. Great. Do what you want. But let me tell you, it's not all good or bad. If it's beneficial for you to believe that, and you're going to use that knowledge and that energy to do something constructive with that's prosperous, then it's a good thing, right? I'm not saying dismiss it. Use it if you need it. Use it if you want to. There's no good or bad. If whatever chaos week that you're talking about is going to be beneficial to you because it's going to give you some motivation to do A, B, C, and D and do the most and get this and get that, then do it. Okay? Because sometimes good can come out of stuff if it's motivation for you, if it's motivational for you. So everything depends on your belief system, whether you're going to get up and be motivated or not. So if you need that as motivation to get up and do something that's going to bring you prosperity, then so be it. It's not a bad thing. It can work in your favor. That's alchemy. Okay. Do you believe in a higher power? Yes, I believe in my higher self, my highest power, of course. And everybody has one. Everybody believes in a higher power if it's not themselves. When they're self-actualized, they believe in themselves as the higher power. So it really doesn't matter. People believe what people tell them to believe or what they choose to believe. But either way, if it works for you and it's beneficial to you and you're thriving, that's all that matters, because all is, repeat after me, mental. Okay. You can, like, when you don't have limits to your thinking, you can believe whatever you want, when you want, apply it in order to thrive and prosper, and then not believe it the next day because you don't want that limit on you today. You know what I mean? So it's like clothing. You can wear a certain outfit, have a certain style, have a certain genre, and then the next day be dressed totally different, you know? So I look at it like that. Believe what you want today if it's beneficial today. If it's not beneficial tomorrow, believe in what's beneficial tomorrow. Why? Because you're limitless and you can do that. You have multiple perspectives. So do that. Stop being so limited. If you're limited, it's because you don't feel free and you don't know enough to feel free. Okay. You said, when did you stop believing in God? When I was born, I didn't believe in any of that stuff. When I was straight out of the womb, I didn't have a belief system. I was very limitless and connected to a whole nother realm when I was born. Okay. When a parent in a system of religion started telling me stories that were older than the actual Bible, that came from other places, and they tried to make me believe in something that didn't really work, I listened to the little stories. Okay. But when I was born, none of that was in my mind. None of it. So I was born not believing in anything like that. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Just like people were born before religion was created, just the same as them. You said all is mental. Yes. A good beginner occult book is definitely The Kabbalion by the Three Initiates. Get that book. Okay. It's linked in the Amazon spiritual items I suggest list in my description bar. Say born free. Exactly. Everyone was born free. People were given and brainwashed with religion. So I never stopped because I never started. Sprinkle, sprinkle. All right. What steps do you take when everything is falling apart for you? Responsibility and accountability. That's the steps you take. This is what occultists have to do. They have to take responsibility and accountability, and then they solve the problem. What led you to that? What choices could you have made better? You know what I'm saying? What choices do you need to make today? It's all about accountability and self-awareness and your part in the whole thing. Then you transmute it. Then you profit off of it. You said, what if we're not interested in the occult? Can we still prosper and evolve like you? If you're not interested in the occult, study psychology. That's close enough to mentalism. Sprinkle, sprinkle. All right. Transpersonal psychology. Yep. That's the closest you're going to get to the occult without getting into the occult. There you go. Okay. So I don't mean to be like mean or like when I talk about accountability, As an occultist, as an alchemist, we believe in prevention versus treatment. It's like Eastern medicine versus Western medicine. You must be aware and accountable for your actions. Okay? So you don't try to put a band-aid on stuff. Like if you understand about alchemy, you understand that there are real alchemists and people that try to take shortcuts. There are pharmacists and there are alchemists. There are two totally different things. Uh-oh, thank you, Camille. How do you protect yourself from an energy vampire in your family? By learning how to become one yourself or not dealing with them. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay. There's books on that. You can learn about it, or you can just distance yourself from them. Put your headphones on and don't talk to them, and always stay busy. All right. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Or become a better one. That's the best thing I can tell you. Okay. So yes, if it's too late because you didn't understand this knowledge and your health is doing a certain thing, fix what you can, take accountability, and create better habits, and start thinking more positive, and use preventative care versus trying to treat something after it's already done. That's one thing about alchemists. They are accountable, and they prepare, and they make decisions based on the long run. So you gotta be accountable for your health. Like a lot of people ask me why I do what I do, why I eat the way I eat, because I'm thinking about 20 years from now. I'm thinking about my health in 15 to 20 years from now. Every time that I put something in my mouth, that's going to show up 20 years later. So I'll make sure I'm putting the right stuff in there. Okay. I'm not going to put all the wrong stuff in there and then worry about it. Say I'm going to worry about it later. No, I'm going to worry about it right now because I can prevent it right now. It's literally like Back to the Future. Visualize yourself healthy in the future. Know what you got to do to get there. So a lot of times, you can deal with what you have today. You said you just eat to live. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Prevention versus treatment. That's right. The Yoruba goddess. That's right. Prevent it. Don't treat it. Now, there are certain things that we probably couldn't help. Maybe you grew up and, in your childhood and they weren't able to be prevented from childhood or something like that. You had no power over that. But as soon as you do, you need to start doing something about it. Okay. And I always think a lot of people say their health things, their things about their health are hereditary. Even doctors have disproven that. Their habits are passed on. That's where the hereditary comes in. So if you have poor eating habits, bad habits, it's usually you're taught by your parents. And so it's passed on to you that way, not hereditary. You have the same genes, so they're probably going to react in a similar way with bad habits. Okay. You said, how am I knowledgeable about so many things? Like the amount of things I've learned from you is endless. Because I'm limitless, darling. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I'll tell you all my trick. I don't know everything. I can access knowledge, but when you feel limitless, when you vibrate as limitless, you start to act that way a little bit. You start to learn more because limitless doesn't have a limit. You just keep going. I'm always learning new stuff. Give us example of how to transmute our sadness and defeat when someone stole tons of money from you. Okay, ma'am. You could get that money right back. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I always see stuff coming right back to me. Like it's already on its way back. And if I transmute that energy, it's going to come back times 10, times 20. Because money is currency and it's flow. It's always going to return. Just like the water on the earth. It's all in the water in the ocean. It's this amount of water has touched that shore, and it's also going to touch that shore. No matter if you scoop it up in a bucket and take it somewhere else, it's always going to come back. And depending on the wind, the temperature, it may come back more in abundance. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Sure. Do you have any spiritual movies you recommend? I can't think of movies off the top of my head, y'all. I'm not good at that because I mostly read books. And if I watch a movie and I see stuff in it, great. I'll remember it. But y'all help her out in the comments. I don't think of movies and stuff like off the top of my head sometimes because there's more knowledge in books, and movies just touch on it a little bit. Yeah, Matrix, definitely. But movies barely touch on it because there's a lot of symbolism in movies. And I see all the symbolism in movies, but I'm so used to seeing it now, it doesn't really stand out that much. Once you are able to see symbolism in everything, it doesn't really stand out anymore. It's like having a dream and decoding it at the same time. So when you wake up, you don't have to decode it because you already know what it means. So it's not like you're seeing it like other people are seeing it. Okay. It's like, that's all I see. And I think that's all. I forget that other people don't see like I do. And so it's just a normal movie to me. Thank you for showing up and enlightening us. Thank you, Maria. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I appreciate it. But, when I was learning symbolism, I had lots of movies that I would mention. But now that it's like interpreting your dream already while you're dreaming. And so you don't have to figure out what it means when you wake up. You already know. Okay. Hey, I'm live. Okay. Go ahead. You're fine. Okay. So, how do you feel about laser hair removal? Do you feel it interferes with our girl? I don't think about stuff like that. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Y'all want to hear something weird? Your focus, you're going to focus on that. I don't, the people in certain areas are bald and they're still on a high frequency. I mean, I don't think of stuff that intensely because it doesn't matter. People shave, people laser, people do whatever they want. It's your mind. All is mental. All is mental. Okay. All is mental. Figure out how to transmute that thought into making everything beneficial to you. Yeah, we spoke about Trump. He is funny. We said it was people are trying to get people to think of more abundance and prosperity. We're headed towards a more utopian world. And in order to get there, things have to be organized and orchestrated to look like things are happening when everything is already pre-planned. So I was talking about earlier the bags in China. Everybody can have a bag now. Woohoo! No one has to go without. I was talking about like a lot of stuff is just orchestrated to move towards a more advanced, technologically advanced and utopian society. And things have to look like, we're getting closer and closer, and you have to believe it. It's a mass illusion that's done by master occultists in the media, in politics, and everything to make y'all think everything is going towards abundance and prosperity so that you can vibrate on that level of prosperity and abundance as well. Okay. It's all orchestrated. Everything that's being done is being shown to you for a reason, to get you to vibrate on a higher level, or depending on your level of thinking. If you're always looking for good or bad, that's what you're going to find. If you're always looking for prosperity and abundance, that's what you're going to find. Okay. If how you look at a certain situation, how you think about a certain situation is what you're going to find. So you can have 5 people in a room and see the exact same thing and have 5 different outcomes of what they thought, or how they benefited or not benefited or didn't benefit at all. You're going to have somebody that didn't benefit, who may feel triggered, who may feel lack. Then you're going to have someone that figured out how to make a bunch of money and, you know, do the most. Then you're going to see someone that's spreading fear and panic. But they all heard the same exact thing. It depends on how you perceive whatever it is you're perceiving. It's your mental, it's your limits. You are the main character. You perceive everything as the character that you play. All right. So if I play a character of getting this money, that's what I'm going to see. That's what I'm going to perceive. That's what I'm going to do. If you play a character of fear mongering and panic, that's what you're going to create. That's what you're going to do. If that other person has a character of, you know, doing the least, that's their character is going to do. So it's all about your perspective, your character, and how you perceive things, how you vibrate with what's given to you. If you understand the occult, you know all this, and you don't have limits on things, and you don't see things as good or evil. You see them as beneficial or non-beneficial. Okay, sprinkle, sprinkle. Beneficial or non-beneficial. If it's not beneficial, you figure out how to make it beneficial. That's transmutation. Okay. If someone hands you some mud in your hand, you're going to say, oh, get this mud out of my hand. I'm so mad at you. Oh, okay. That's not beneficial to you. But if you say, okay, what kind of mud is this? What's in this mud? Okay. Is there clay in here? Can I make a pot? Can I make a bowl? Can I make a vase? All right. Well, can I sell this vase? You see? Or, you know, what is in this mud? Is there good chemicals in here? Is this good for your skin? Can I make a mud mask? Can I market this as skincare? Can I sell this? It's how you look at things. Versus, oh my God, somebody threw mud on me. Oh, I'm so dirty. Why did they do that? I want revenge. Oh, they must think I'm this. They're that. They don't like me. Why don't they like me? You know, it's how you look at things and how you react to things and how you create and how you transmute and how you turn negative into positive and how you turn lack into abundance. You may not be able to do anything with that mud right then and there, but it could have sparked an idea. You know what I'm saying? It could have been a sign. Okay. Whatever, however you choose to view it, is because your character is going to do what it got to do. What do occultists do about failing businesses? They have several businesses. And some businesses are set up to fail on purpose because that's not your passion anyway, but it did teach you how to do certain things. Think about it. A lot of very successful people had failing businesses, but it taught them how to create a thriving business. What it taught you, it's like your practice business. You know, it's like your pre-test. That's why whenever I tell people about starting businesses, start small. Don't put too much into it. Start very small. That way you can play with it. That's your practice business. And when you learn the ins and out of it, then you start your big business. Sprinkle, sprinkle. But what you can do is try to turn it around if you want that business to thrive and come at it from a different angle. Like the people that invented Play-Doh. Have you heard that story? That was to seal holes in the wall before people painted. And it was just laying around this dude's house. And I think his wife or somebody took it to school because I think she was a teacher. I think this is the story. I don't know. And she started letting kids play with it. And then they started putting like food coloring on it and they called it Play-Doh. And then they started selling it. But it was literally to seal the holes in the wall so they could be like painted over. So redirect your business and what you're doing. It could be a whole nother thing that you're not seeing that you could be making money off of. Okay. You said that's crazy. Rebrand it. Exactly. Mm-hmm. What time is it? Okay. And yeah. Mm-hmm. You want to know how to find your own path as a witch? Man, you don't have to find nothing. You're already on it. There, you stop looking. You there. Just do what is beneficial to you. Thank you, Ange. Do you believe in bay leaf manifestation? Anything you believe will work if you mentally believe it. That it will work. So here's the thing about belief. If you believe it, it will work. If you don't believe it, it won't work. If somebody told you to believe it, that you trust, you're going to believe it and it will work. Okay? Think about this. When people push beliefs on you or religion on you, it's usually by people you trust, not people you don't trust, because it doesn't have power. Okay? If you trust someone and they tell you to believe something, you're going to believe it and it's going to work because you're putting that belief and it's working through you. If someone you don't believe in or don't trust tell you something, you're not going to believe it. Now, are you? It's that simple. Believe in it because you choose to. Do you have any tips on how to cleanse yourself of an evil eye energy? I don't believe in evil eye energy. Thank you, PGF. Sprinkle. I think if you believe in that, then whatever they tell you to do to cleanse yourself, that's what you do. Okay? It's just like an exorcism in the Catholic Church. If people believe they're possessed, they think being exorcised is going to get rid of whatever they're possessed with. So it's literally psychology. If you believe something and you believe that there's an antidote for it, it's like the placebo effect, literally. So do whatever they tell you to do. Okay? Sprinkle. Your belief system just needs to be reassured. Okay. Think about this. People that never heard of that before don't believe in that. So it doesn't affect them. But if someone told you about it, you believe in it because you trusted them, maybe they're a family member. Now you got to believe in the way to protect yourself from it or to get it off of you because you believed in it in the first place. Okay. Just like there's a lot of superstitions out there that people believe in. And in order to stop thinking about it and fixating on it and being paranoid about it, they have to have an antidote or a placebo to it. So whatever that is, go do it, you know? Hey. Okay, so only believes in what benefits us. Yes, ma'am. Because all is mental. Why would you believe something that's going to hold you back? Why would you purposely put something in your mind that's going to keep you from focusing on your abundance and your prosperity and the positivity? Why would you put that in there? Why would other people put it in there? To slow you down? To keep you from becoming your most powerful? Okay, well then believe it. To keep you limited? Of course. to keep you doing silly stuff about stuff that's not even true in the first place, but you have to continuously mentally transmute everything because you believe in too much stuff? Perhaps. Okay. Imagine this. Imagine if you believed in every religion, every god, every superstition, every spiritual punishment. Imagine how distracted and busy you would be just trying to feel normal. Think about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'd be doing the most trying to feel normal because you believed in too much. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You see, that's where paranoia come from? Yeah, believing it too much. Believe what's beneficial for you at the time, then set it down. You said, do I ever get mad at God? No. There was like, I keep going back to birth. When I was born, I didn't know what any of that was. Okay. So I never believed in it in the first place. So I don't have to get mad at somebody that I don't even believe in. Does it make sense? If you don't believe in something, you can't get mad at it because it doesn't exist to you. If you believe in yourself, you can take accountability, get angry at yourself, and do better. But I can't get mad at something that I don't believe in. That doesn't make sense. Unless it's beneficial to me, then I can pretend I'm getting mad at it to make some money or to sell something. I could do that. That's very occult-like. But if I don't really believe in certain things, how can I get mad at it? Okay. If I need something to blame something on, it's because I'm not taking accountability for my own actions. So I'll take accountability for actions that I do. I don't need to get mad at something I don't believe in. Okay. Sure. What if you was stalked and you're a bit paranoid now? Okay. If you're stalked, that's a compliment, man. Okay. You must look good. Let it boost your ego a little bit. Let it boost your confidence. Some people wish they could be stalked. Some people blend it in into the wallpaper. That's a good story to tell your kid. Girl, I look so good back in the day and had stalkers. Yes, ma'am. They was looking and wishing and hoping. Never could. I think that's a flex, ma'am. Use it as a flex. Boost your self-esteem and your ego and move on. All right. Some people wish they could get stalked. Girl, pick me shot here wishing and hoping. Wish somebody would stalk me. Okay. Stop bragging. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's my thing about books and reading. If you're reading to get knowledge, wonderful. If you're reading to believe, different story. Thank you, Grace. You're on the last elixir. What would you say are the biggest benefits of the last phase? I feel like after that, you're going to really feel like definitely a frequency of divinity. You know, you're going to be self-actualized. You're going to start taking more accountability for things. You're going to like be able to pick up on things a lot easier. You're going to be more self-aware. You're going to be like complete. It's like literally going to be the completion. But at the same time, you understand that you always need to learn. Never stop learning. That's what you're going to get out of that. You're going to have like a hunger for knowledge, but not so much belief. Okay. Because there's a difference between knowledge and beliefs. Knowledge and believing have two different knowledge and believing have two different tasks. To believe something is to want it to be, or to live as if it is. Knowledge of something is having knowledge of something and you can use it to get something, or to change something, or to understand something. It's two different things. So if you're reading books, read for knowledge, not for beliefs. People will write about their beliefs and you can see how it benefited them or not benefited them, and how you can use those beliefs at a certain time to get the same results or similar results. But do not read to believe, read to learn. Then if you need to temporarily believe in whatever it is you learn to benefit you in some way, then go for it. But stay limitless. Okay. Thank you, Grace. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I appreciate that. Thanks for getting the elixirs. I appreciate y'all. Think about this, okay? For religious people or spiritual people, why do y'all read spiritual books or religious books? Are you reading for the knowledge? Are you reading for the stories? Or are you reading to believe? Why are you reading? Think about this when you read something. Pretend it's a movie script. I'm gonna help y'all out real quick. Whenever you pick up something, pretend it's a movie script and you're reading it. Okay? When you're reading a movie script, you don't believe in it. You're just gathering the information, memorizing the lines, understanding the storyline. That's what you're doing. That's all you're doing. Okay? You're not reading the movie script and believing that the movie is real. That's how you read any book. You're getting the knowledge, the storyline, and then like when you watch the movie or when the movie is pitched, then you say, this could be real. This could make sense in theory. This could be that. It could be a true story, but it's, it could be. You're not looking to believe it. You're looking to see that it's believable. You get it? And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just straight up fantasy. Okay? But you need an imagination and you need a limitless keyword. You need a limitless imagination to even be able to believe half of the stuff that y'all read. And this is where the problem is. People will believe stuff and not have a limitless imagination. This is where it gets dangerous, because they will believe something but don't believe something else that's just as fantastic, which means they are programmed. They only have this one program. They're not able to use the same type of belief or theory outside of this book or this movie. They only believe that this one particular thing is true, no matter if something is just as fantastic is happening over here. They've been brainwashed to only believe one thing can be true. So that's how reading religious text is. And that's how people take it, who take it literally. They don't understand, okay, this is a concept. This is an archetype. This is a storyline. This is metaphor. It's not, it's a template. Okay? It's the same thing as taking everything personally. Don't do it. Take everything as like a movie script. And just like this movie is fantastic and has all these magical things in it, so can another movie. because you're limitless. The writer is limitless. They have a strong imagination, and so are you. Okay. That's how you need to view things if you are wanted to be limitless and absorb knowledge and not belief. That's why people's like, oh, did you ever believe in this? No, because I never absorbed it as belief. I just absorbed it as knowledge and stories. I was unable to be brainwashed, I guess. Sprinkle, sprinkle. How did humans come to existence? Okay. A mother had a baby. Her egg started to divide when it was fertilized. Okay. And you know, they always ask that question, which came first, the chicken or the egg? The chicken came first because the material that the egg is made out of is found nowhere else but in a chicken. So, woman, mother. That's why the first deity, the first statue, the first thing that was ever worshipped was a woman, because you came from a mother. And then you came out the ocean. Life came out of the ocean. Okay. The ocean is feminine. Water is feminine. The ocean is asexual. Fish fertilize eggs that are laid by other fish. They don't even have to have intercourse. Some of them. Okay. The ocean has sperm and eggs in it just floating around. Okay. The fish come by, spray some stuff out, their eggs is fertilized. Before that, there was if you understand how the earth was created, before that, the ocean was a certain temperature and had certain life in it that wasn't growing, and then maybe a meteor came from outer space and had some stuff on it from a different place, and all this is, and I mean, you could keep going forever, but it's always going to lead back to the mother, to the womb, to the matrix, to the void. It's always going to lead back to that. So everybody came out of a woman. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Everybody came out of an egg. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Plant life. Okay. There's feminine and masculine flowers, plants, parts on plants. Everything has a like masculine and feminine to it. Okay. That's why you have a belly button and nipples. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Even if you're a man. Mm-hmm. You said you're not using your brain cells. Of course not. I think like if everybody used all their brain cells, I don't think they would need to exist anymore. Like, why am I here? This is stupid. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, I'm not here to take away y'all's beliefs. That's not my job. Y'all can believe whatever y'all want to believe. That's the whole point of being limitless. Okay, if it's working for you in your life, if you're thriving, then continue doing what you're doing. Obviously, you're doing something right. But not everybody has the same belief system, because everybody doesn't believe in the same thing, and they can't prosper or be abundant believing the exact same thing. Some people believe in different things, and they're still very successful. Whatever works for you, that's what works for you. Okay. I'm not trying to convert you. I don't care. I don't care what you believe. As long as you're benefiting from it, that makes me happy. Okay. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Just like I don't care what people eat. I don't convert people. I just say what I say, and it is what it is. Sprinkle, sprinkle. The Lucy movie describes Using your mind at the fullest capacity. Yes, supernova. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Seen that movie. It's good. I don't know. I was always a curious child. I never took stuff at face value. I never believed people 100%. I thought everybody was stupid. I honestly, like that. I'm not even joking. Like I thought, like these are adults. This is all I got to teach me. Y'all stupid and dumb. Let me go get a book. Let me read. Let me do my research. I don't believe that mess. You know, that was my mentality as a child. That's why it was hard for me to be brainwashed. It was hard for me because I didn't believe nobody. They were literally in my mind. I was smarter than everybody. It was like, I must think I'm stupid. I think I was born knowing a lot because every time somebody would introduce me to something, it sounded stupid. Like, this is stupid. Y'all believe this mess? Y'all dumb. My IQ must be really high compared to y'all's, and y'all are adults. I'm not believing this stuff. You know, I was more of that type of child. I didn't believe in it. Okay. You couldn't make me either. I would laugh at you. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, even as children, if you ask too many questions about something that seems silly to believe literally, they get mad at you. And that was my first clue that they were stupid. If they get mad at you because they can't answer your question, they're the dumb ones. All right. So that's that's a red flag when people can't answer your questions. You kind of say, well, if you don't know, then why should I believe the little information you actually have? It doesn't do anything for me. So gotta do my own research. Okay. You said exactly. Mm-hmm. So Alexa says she definitely thought everyone was stupid. Yeah. Some people are just born that way. It's hard to accept people for they are. Any advice? If you're trying to accept people for who they are, you have to accept yourself first and take accountability for yourself. You can't accept people for who they are. You got to just say, you know what? I accept myself. Therefore, if I accept myself, that's good enough. People are who they are. I can't change them. I don't care to change them. They need to change themselves. That's not my problem. Ain't my responsibility. If you don't like their behavior, then don't be around them. That's literally it. You can't change everybody or control everybody. Accept them for who they are, benefit from who they are, transmute whatever you need to transmute to benefit and being in their presence if you have to be in their presence. People ask me this all the time when it comes to coworkers. How do I benefit and deal with my coworkers if I don't like them and they're always you know what? Find a way to benefit off of them. Whatever that may be. I remember some girl, I can't remember exactly what the situation was, but some girl used to get picked on by her coworkers and stuff, and she started making like candles and bringing them to work, and now everybody wanted to buy them. Now everybody her friend, and she getting her coworkers money who used to hate on her. Now she's putting money in her pocket. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I don't know. Make it work. If you can't benefit off of them, just avoid them or focus on something more beneficial. Mm-hmm. True occultists and alchemists. Okay, I'm gonna teach y'all. We can't. Okay, spiritual people and religious people think in lack. Occultists think always in abundance. Always. If you never want to experience lack, become an occultist. Period. All right? Because let me tell you why. It will teach you to prepare. It will teach you to take accountability. It will teach you to think far into the future. It will teach you to see things from a higher perspective. It will teach you to make good decisions today because you're preparing for something. It will teach you to be the cause to create the effect. Okay? You can't practice the occult. You can't be an occultist if you're not accountable. Okay? This is the Kabbalion. This is what you need to start off with if you're just trying to learn the basics of anything. Okay? But that's the difference between people that practice magic, witchcraft, and spirituality. They will get themselves into a bind. Occultists plan from the start. And they transmute anything negative into positive. And they figure out how to get paid off of it and benefit from it. That's an alchemist. Okay? So think on that level. Think big. Think bigger. Not complicated, but big. Outside the box. All right? And you can't tell people exactly what to do because they'll never learn how to think. They'll just do what you told them to, which means they're not thinking outside the box. So think outside the box. Do more. Plan from the start. Plan your be the cause of your effect. Whatever you want the effect to be, you have to become the cause of it. Okay? It's that simple. If you start thinking like that, you're always going to think like that. You're always going to think like that. What do I want the result to be tomorrow? Well, that's what I got to do today. So y'all are always like, well, all you think about money. You'll never be broke. Think about how to get money. Several ways to get money. Several streams of income. You'll never be broke. The effect of always thinking about money is abundance, prosperity. And thinking about it in a positive way and having more than one stream of income and only dealing with people that are beneficial to you financially. Okay. Not dealing with people that are taking from you, not dealing with people that are begging you for stuff and asking you, not dealing with people that, cost you more to be around. You're going to start taking a lot of stuff out of your life that is unnecessary. You're going to start getting rid of a lot of people that are taking from you if you want to live in abundance. You're going to hang around people that are beneficial and stop hanging around people that are non-beneficial or that are draining. Your whole life is going to change once you become an alchemist and study the occult, because you're not going to let certain people around you because they're not doing anything beneficial. You're going to start to say, I'm the cause that creates the effect. I got to take accountability for who I let in my life. Okay, because a lot of people don't realize this. You are responsible for who you let in your life to do whatever they're doing to you as to why you're not being abundant. So remember that. Spirituality say, oh, well, do this and do that and be kind and help. Some spirituality. Religion says do this. No, if they're draining you, if they're not the effect that you want, get rid of them. What are you doing? Okay? Because once they're finished with you, they're going to just move on to somebody else and do the same thing to them. So why are y'all allowing it? Be smart. Take accountability. Create. Be the cause you want to see the effect to. Only let beneficial people in your life. Okay? Mm-hmm. Can you see that book again? Okay, it's The Kabbalion. You can get it on Amazon. I have it, my Amazon spiritual item, I suggest, linked in the description bar. Okay. All right. So think about this. A lot of people that are spiritual or religious, they don't teach you this. They don't teach you to be the cause and to plan the effect by what you do today. They teach you to keep hope alive, be obedient, pray hard, maybe things will change if you deserve it. You know, they don't teach you to take accountability, responsibility, or to create the effects in your own life. They tell you to keep around people that don't need to be there. They tell you to keep suffering and one day something will happen. No. Take action right now. Change the suffering into benefits. Transmute all of that. Get rid of people that are non-beneficial and thrive. That's literally the formula. That's how occultists think. That's how alchemists think. That's the difference. They're not making it complicated at all. They're just moving forward. So once you get that mindset, you're not going to be running into too much anymore, because you're going to be planning things already. Every move you make is going to be towards the effect that you seek. The path that you're on is leading to the effect that you sought, your manifestation, your future self, your vision of what you want life to be. That's where you should be headed in every step that you take. If you're not heading in that direction, redirect your thinking, your life, and start only making decisions based on heading in that direction. That means certain people can't come with you. That means you can't be around certain people. That means you got to move, probably. That means you got to do certain things that you're not doing right now. Mm-hmm. New age spiritualists are good marketers. Yeah. I mean, if you're getting paid off of it, then get paid. That's your thing. I'm not downing it. I'm just saying, if you're an occultist, you're going to use whatever you got to benefit. Sprinkle, sprinkle. You say you got to stop being afraid of hurt feelings. Feelings don't matter. Okay. They're temporary. You'll get over it. Think about the real deal. That's the real thing that's going to affect you. Okay. Feelings you don't last very long. You're done. Mm-hmm. You said, what about toxic parents? Think about yourself and what kind of parent you're going to be and take steps towards that. Stop worrying about what people already are and worry about who you're going to be. You know what I'm saying? In the cycle. It's very easy. All right. We always looking for people to point and judge. That's their problem. Okay. That's literally their problem. Be better. Take accountability. Be better. To stop looking for victim path and look for improvement paths. All right. We're all supposed to be better than our parents. Period. So go be better. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, take accountability and just go do better. Understand why they are the way that they are and choose to be different. All right. Remember this, and I keep telling people this: no one owes you anything. Not even your parents. They don't owe you nothing. You got here on the planet, you're here. That's all. That's all you're owed. If you want your life to be good, go make it good. All right. You said that's painful, but it's the truth. It's literally the truth. There are some people that were put up for adoption, never knew their real mother or family. People aren't owed anything. If you want your life to go a certain direction, head in that direction. That's literally it. If you're going to play victim, if you're going to blame people, if you're going to point the finger, then that's what you're doing. You're choosing to live in that victim mentality, and that's going to be your character. But what about this? But what about that? I don't care about that, and no one else does either. I'm just being honest with you. Nobody else cares, and nobody's going to tell y'all that. And y'all know the truth. Nobody cares. You can't put that on your resume, on your application, on your credit report. You can't put none of that on there. Ma'am, move on. Do better. Sprinkle, sprinkle. The thing is, we want people to care. We wish people care because you care too much. You think everybody else is supposed to care when really the reality check is nobody does care. Either you're doing what you need to do or you're not. Either you're heading in the direction you want to go or you're not. What you doing? And the more you think people care, the more you want people to care, the more you want to remain in your victim mentality, the longer you're going to remain there. Everything is going to be put on hold. Everything is going to start falling apart because you can't stop focusing on what already is instead of focusing on what could be. Okay, you're focusing on the past. We need to be headed towards your future. And a lot of people get lost in that victim circle and they never get anywhere. You can tell you've entered trance mode because smooth and quick-witted way you tell us your knowledge. Thank you. I enter trance mode. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Thank you for sharing your knowledge here. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Yeah. Sometimes I do. Okay. Yeah, that's why I stopped doing consultations and stuff like that for people because they couldn't get over the past. You know, they want to be a victim. They want a trauma dump. That's their identity now. So I let them live their best identity as a victim, and I had to go. You know what I'm saying? There are some people that identify as a victim. That's their entire personality. And you can't help them because they like it too much. So when dealing with people, a lot of the time people don't like to deal with people that trauma dump because they're not trying to improve themselves. They just need somebody to listen to. Some people call them energy vampires or whatever. But the point is, if you are a victim and that's the character that you're playing, stop bringing other people into it. We don't care. Okay? Sprinkle, sprinkle. All right. You said, how do you ever get over the past? By focusing on the present. You're already over the past because you're not there anymore. Your mind is there because all is mental. If you can't get your mind in the present, then you're going to remain in the past mentally. And if you remain in the past mentally, you can't do anything today to get results for tomorrow. All right. Think about it like this. There's nothing you can do about it. So just think about something else now. Something beneficial now. Every think about the past, take some money and give it to somebody. You know, the swear jar, think about like a past thought jar. Every time you think about the past, take $20 and give it to somebody or put it in a jar. Make it beneficial to you. If you think about the past, put $20 in a jar. Create a savings account every time you think about the past. That's very beneficial. You're going to run out of money. You keep thinking about the past. You ain't going to have no gas money. You're going to be sitting there looking stupid. So think about it like that. You said, get that money to me. I know, right? Every time y'all think about the past, send it to my Cash App, please. He said, then you'd be homeless. Exactly. Now you see where your problem is. Now you see where your thoughts are. So, he said, therapists thrive off you being stuck in the past. Exactly. Be stuck in some money. Be stuck in the future, making money. Be stuck in the present, getting the life you want. Stop being stuck in the past. You can't change it. It's done. There's nothing you can do about it. Nobody cares either. Okay. Something bad may happen, but you can't change it. It's done. What you could do is do better and thrive now. You're still alive. Use this day. Okay. Think about this. A long time ago, a lot of the stuff that people experienced, a lot of the trauma that people experienced a long time ago was the norm. I know it's not right, but a lot of the stuff people experienced a long time ago that people would find traumatic in this era was the norm. And they just went on about their business, focused on the present. They've made it through somehow, some way. You know what I'm saying? If you need help, go get help. But at the same time, you got to focus on the present. Sprinkle, sprinkle. All right, y'all. She said, SHERA will put that money to work if you don't. I sure will. Mm-hmm. You say, don't be bitter, be better. Exactly. Use that. If you keep thinking about the past, use it in a creative way. Every time you think about the past, do something creative. Do a sit-up if you need to strengthen your core. Use it as a punishment. You know what I'm saying? To become more productive. I mean, if you're gonna keep thinking about the past because you can't stop, use it to propel yourself into a positive direction. Okay. So, like, for example, every time you think about the past, go run a lap. Every time you think about the past, do 10 sit-ups. Every time you think about the past, put $5 in a jar. You know, if you hold yourself accountable for your actions, either you're going to change them, and if you can't change them, at least you're benefiting from them. This is the occult. This is alchemy. Don't stay stuck not getting anywhere. If you're going to stay stuck, at least get somewhere using the occult and using alchemy. Okay? Because at the end of the day, you still gonna get somewhere, even though you can't stop thinking about the past. Oh man, my savings is huge. Every time I thought about the past, I had to put $5 in the jar. Look how much money I saved. Oh man, every time I look in the mirror now, I have a 6-pack. Why? Because every time I thought about the past, I had to do 10 sit-ups or 10 crunches. Wow. Then now you're gonna be focused on now, because now you got some money in your account. Now you got a 6-pack. What you gonna do now? Still think about the past? No. All right, fine. Every time I think about the past, I'm going to go, do some squats or read a book or learn this new thing. Now you're going to either be smart or very fit or very rich. Okay. Use everything that is negative and turn it into positive. That's what I'm going to do. Look, that's what I do. Okay. Use it to propel you, not to hold you back, not to hold you hostage, but to propel you. Think about this. Every time your friend Kanye or Ye goes on a rant and thinks about the past and starts bringing up stuff, he's making money. He's getting views. He's going viral. He's promoting his next album. Okay? He can't get over certain things, but he's still going to get paid from them, period. Or he could be sitting in loneliness and not speaking and not going off on Twitter and not doing the most and not getting paid. But since he can't, not everybody is able to do so quickly. He's going to benefit and profit off of it for sure. He sure is. He said he's just got to get his feelings out on Twitter. Do you know how many people signed up for Twitter? You know how much money Kanye done made them people? Do you know how many people are going viral for sharing his tweets that are deleted? Do you know how rich he makes people just by doing what he does? Do you know how much influence that he has? Do you know how much people pay attention to him and listen to his new music and click on his stuff and buy his merch and stuff like that? Because of how he transmutes the past. If you're going to do it, get paid. If you're going to think about it, if you're going to stay there, get paid. Okay? Sprinkle, sprinkle. But if you're not getting paid to think and stay in the past, you're doing it wrong. All right. Look, I did it. You can go to my old videos and look. Tales of a former mortician. Okay, I told about my experiences as a mortician, the good and the bad. Okay. I made money off of that. Wonderful. Some people choose to. Some people keep just thinking about it. If you're not making money off of it, those thoughts are useless. Okay. You said those were good. Thank you. Yeah. Now I'm over it. I don't care. I don't even think about it anymore. Okay. But I still found a way to prosper off of it, right? And I learned a lot too that also brings me knowledge and prosperity now. I'm only going to use my past to prosper. Mm-hmm. You said you could do it for bad habits? Yep. If you're trying to change anything, hold yourself accountable. That's literally it. And it's not as hard as it seems if you make it fun. Okay. It's like playing truth or dare with yourself, except you're going to get paid. Okay, if I think about the past, I got to do this or that. And then hold yourself accountable, and either you're going to be improving or profiting. Either way, you're moving in a direction. Okay. You said write about your trauma as fictional short stories. Okay, yeah, become a writer. Some people put it in music. Some people put it in poetry. Some people put it in fiction. Do what you got to do. You said, why do you think about Kanye West uses a woman to show off or control her? Okay, if you are in a relationship with a narcissist person, Kim and Kanye were two narcissistic people. He couldn't control Kim. He got a look-alike, and he wanted to live out the fantasy of controlling Kim, so he controlled her. She wasn't a narcissist like Kim, so that's why he was able to do it. It's just a fantasy he was living. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Think Think about this, being in a relationship for so long where you have no control. As soon as you get into another relationship, you're going to test those boundaries or live out your fantasy that you couldn't have by getting a lookalike. I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. But it's neither good nor bad. It's just what he's doing. And it made them both money. Okay. Everyone profited off of that. Remember, we're not looking at anything as good or bad as an occultist. We're just seeing what it is and how you can profit off of it, and, you know, what it means symbolically if it's beneficial to know. What we see, we saw somebody that was in a narcissistic relationship with another narcissist who couldn't out narcissist the narcissist. So he went and got somebody that could be a victim, and he flexed his narcissistic behavior on a lookalike and got his fantasy. That's all I see, and made money off of it, period. It's neither good or bad. Both parties were willing. Okay. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I don't know. What about people who hold your past against you? Get away from those people. Okay. Or tell them, I'm over it. Why aren't you? Then it literally becomes their problem. Mm-hmm. SHERA said no one will hand it to you. You got to go take it for yourself. Mm-hmm. Also, let me help y'all out. Stop babying yourself so much. Oh, this new generation babies themselves and others too much. Where are you going to find strength if you're always playing a victim? Stop babying yourself and take accountability for everything that you do. The faster you do that, the faster you can move forward. Rip the Band-Aid off. Okay. See everything as positive and how you can make it positive and how you can earn money from it. If you start looking at stuff like that, things don't seem so bad. You are forced to look at it in a positive way. You are forced to see the positive outcome. You are forced to see how you can become more abundant because of it. Force yourself to see that. Okay? Whatever's happening to you, force yourself to see a way to come out with more. And then do it. Do what it takes. You said, what about when it's not your fault? It doesn't even matter if it's your fault. If you're a true alchemist, you're still going to take accountability for it so that you can hurry up and solve the issue. You know what I mean? If you're dealing with something, the decision that led you to whatever the result is partially still your fault if you're involved. Y'all got to understand that. It's still partially your fault in some form or fashion. You got to take whatever responsibility that is. It could be the smallest part, but you still got to take responsibility and accountability for your part in it, whatever it was. And it may not even be that much of accountability that you have to take, but as long as you take whatever amount of it, then you're able to move forward, okay, and solve the problem. And some people will not even have any part in it, but once they take accountability for it, they take responsibility for it, and then they just go solve the problem. Okay, because sometimes you got to be the bigger person and go solve the issue so that you can move on. If you're always looking for somebody to blame and play victim to, you're going to stay there very long. You're going to stay in that state very long. So you got to hurry up, take accountability, and move forward and get to where you need to go. And I'm not saying a victim should take accountability. I'm saying the least amount of accountability that you should take is, okay, it happened. Let's get to the next level. The only accountability you can accept is the acceptance of it. If it was not your fault, just accept that it is and it can't be changed. That's the least amount of accountability that a victim can take, that truly it wasn't your fault, but you accept that it happened and now you can move forward. Okay? Because some people can't get over the past, but you just accept it and get over it the best way you can. Don't sit there and suffer in it. Accept that it happened. Put your shoes on and keep it moving. Because that's all you can do. All right. Sprinkle, sprinkle. All right, y'all. I'm getting ready to wrap this video up. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are so nice for all the super chats. I appreciate y'all. Remember, if y'all are trying to level up from religion, spirituality, and stuff like that, definitely study the occult and occult symbolism. Learn to read between the lines. Learn to take accountability. Learn all is mental. Learn belief is only put in place for you to accomplish things at that moment. And, reading something doesn't necessarily mean believing it all the time, but gathering the knowledge in order to incorporate the belief when it is necessary. Okay. Thank you for all your knowledge. Ojitos, sprinkle, sprinkle. Thank you, girl. All right, y'all, I'm getting ready to go. Make sure y'all like the video. Oh, yeah. Hit the notification bell so when I go live again, y'all will be notified. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.